Game time. Welcome, everybody, to a live episode of Game Time here on the Outlaw Nation channel. So excited to be back this Monday with the full crew here to talk about the NBA playoffs, some NFL news, some golf news, and other stuff going on here in the world of sports. So excited to get into these gentlemen. I am the Outlaw John Rocha, joined as always by that gentleman down there below. Jay Washington, how are you?
I'm exhausted. I'm sleepy. I'm happy to be here, all in one.
Nice. I love it.
I'm so sleepy. I'm so sleepy right now. I walked a half mile in the heat earlier. Walked a half mile in the heat, and then that was after I did the interview. We did the interview. Yeah. So I'm exhausted, but I'm here. So let's go to work.
Right. Fresh off a great interview with Cress Williams. That's going to be up on Blurs in the Hood when? Tomorrow? Is that right?
It's up now.
It's up now. All right. Go and enjoy it after this show, please. After this show. Winston A. Marshall, you were here as well, muted. But how are you, man? How are things? How are you feeling? How is the world treating you?
Well, I heard a baby bit of an echo, so I thought maybe it's me because my headphones are charging. But I'm good. I'm tired. He act like he walked 15 miles in 105-degree heat. It's like 79, and it was because I was like, I need to go to Costco. Meet me there.
79 degrees in Hollywood. In the valley right now, it's almost 100.
Oh, I'm sorry. It's 81. Stop it. So
91.
Now, but not this morning, you dumbass. So anyways, I told him to meet me at the Costco. Of course, I get there, and my dumbass left my fucking wallet at home. Ooh. So I drove with just enough gas to get to the valley so I can get that cheap Costco gas so we could go Costco shopping because I know he needs to do it too, only to realize I can't buy shit. So I went with him to Target, made sure he got his shit, then drove myself back here and was like, fuck it, I guess I'm just working out and then game time and just like,
let's have it. Well, a gentleman who's no stranger to Costco himself, but probably wasn't there today. JT, you're here as well. What's up, dude?
Yeah, not a big bulk shopper kind of guy. So never been a Costco or PJ's guy. I'm more of a dollar store Aldi's kind of guy, like just enough for the week.
Blessings to
Aldi's. Listen to Aldi's. Just enough. Yeah, I'm usually just enough for the week to get through because there's something to do on Sunday and there's no football.
Well, the worst thing is that a Costco is literally 3 minutes from my house. It is the worst thing, and it's chill. It's not like Hollywood. It's not like the one up there in Burbank. It is just barely people are there, so you get to walk around and enjoy yourself. It's nice. I sometimes I don't even buy things. Sometimes I just walk to Costco. I do. I can't explain it. My girlfriend can't explain it either. I just like to walk to Costco sometimes.
I need to ask, how much cheaper is the gas at Costco?
It's about so like all the gas stations around here are $4.30. Yeah, Costco up there is $3.79.
Yeah, $3.80, something like that. Yeah,
I might have to start going to Costco for gas.
That's the way to go. That's the way to go. Well, we're here to talk about NBA playoffs, not Costco. We're going to get into all of that. Ladies and gentlemen, please remember the Streamlabs and Super Chats are open. I hope you all are feeling the heat from a great first opening weekend of the NBA playoffs in 2021. Send in your thoughts and comments. Show some support for the show here with your Streamlabs and your Super Chats. Super Chats, they're taking 50% now of those Super Chats, so we'd prefer you to send in Streamlabs. That's the way to go. The address is right above Winston's head. I'm going to pin it in the chat in just a second, but it's also in the description of this video, so show some love for the joy you get for hanging out with us for a couple of hours. All right, let's get into the first game, and how can we not start with the Lakers and the Suns? Devin Booker scored 34 points. DeAndre Ayton had 21 points, 16 rebounds, and the Suns won their first playoff game in 11 years, beating these Lakers 99-90. It was a shocking appearance from Anthony Davis and LeBron James. It was the fewest. Their 90 points for the Lakers were the fewest they've had in a game with James and Davis this season, and the third fewest in any games, whether playoffs, regular season, or play-in, dating back to last season. And some weird stat was thrown out here. DeAndre Ayton is the second player in postseason history to shoot 90% or better in a 20-point, 15-rebound game against the Lakers, joining Bill Russell, who did it in 1965. Ladies and gentlemen. So pretty insane stuff. We also got a little bit of chippiness here between Alex Caruso over there for the Lakers and Payne, who got into an altercation near the sideline after Payne had knocked Caruso down to the ground. Someone not to miss a fight, Montrezl Harrell jumped up in there, got into the fray, and both teams had to be separated. Jay, I'll go to you first on this one. Were you surprised at the Lakers kind of no-show here against the Suns, who ran a pretty good defensive scheme against these Lakers? Do you think they were tired from the play-in game against the Grizzlies, who are no slouch on defense themselves, or do you think this was just a straight-up beating, and the Suns are proven to be the better team?
I think LeBron James deserves an Academy Award nomination for his performance on the floor.
Okay. Why is that?
I thought you saw Space Jam earlier or something.
No, I'm talking about if his performance in Space Jam is anything indicative of
Jay, don't do this. Don't do this.
No, I'm gonna do it again.
Don't do this.
Yes, I am.
I thought it too, but especially because the way he landed like here, but was like, or he landed on his elbow, but was like, but don't trust me. First of all, the only person that ever deserved an Oscar for faking an injury is Paul Pierce. Let's be real about that.
Oh yeah,
he acted like his leg fell off, and then came out hopping around because he changed his white shorts, and he openly admitted that on the show.
Yes, he did.
He was on the desk for. So,
I mean, but it's again. This is that game. First of all, Monty Williams just won Coach of the Year.
Yes.
Which it speaks. This is why. These Suns are why he won Coach of the Year. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So for them to go toe-to-toe with the champs, this was the game. Again, the Warriors needed help. Yeah. And Steph didn't have it. If Steph had help, we wouldn't be talking about this right now. I'm pretty sure. So
yeah, it was 103-100. It was a close overtime game between the Suns and the Lakers. Or so close game rather. Go ahead. Yeah.
Yeah. So you got a team who is like, yo, we out here. We the number one seed. I don't give a damn if y'all are defending champions. So this second game, LeBron and AD, nobody else has to hit Phoenix in the mouth. If LeBron and AD cannot do that in game 2, you do not want to play with them trying to push this out 6-7 games and hope for the best.
Yeah, JT, I mean, LeBron had 18 points, 10 assists, 7 rebounds. Anthony Davis was 5 of 16 from the field, only had 13 points, and the Lakers shot 27% from three-point range, missing 19 out of 26 shots from three-point range. This ain't going to get it done against the tough Suns team who looks to be picking up where they left off heading into the bubble last year, had a great run, didn't make the playoffs last year, but looked playoff ready. What surprised you? What impressed you about this game?
I'm not really surprised or impressed by the Suns. I knew they were going to be a tough team for the Lakers. For me, AD had a bad game. I think he had 13 points. Yeah. I think him and LeBron combined for like around 30 points. They each need to be scoring 25 to 30 a game. Yeah. That's what this team is built for. It's built for AD and LeBron to dominate. And when one of them doesn't show up, this team is beatable. And I said the same thing when AD was out for weeks upon weeks because he was just injured. He's still probably getting his legs back. He's not going to have a game like this every game in the series. So they won by 9 or so. But if AD just played okay or average, this would have been like a 2-point game probably going into end of the fourth quarter. Now, Chris Paul obviously was hurt and wasn't shooting much either. So that you have to factor that in also. But I thought this game was going to be close when AD and LeBron are dominating. The fact that one of them did dominate, I think, is why the Suns won. I think when they go back to both being dominant and having really good games, these games are going to be really close or the Lakers are going to win it.
Yeah, it's an interesting place to be in, Winston, right now, because you're looking at this Lakers team and you say, well, for their bad shooting night, they still only lost by 9 points. But then you can counter that and say, well, Chris Paul was injured in that second quarter and didn't look right for the rest of the game, and they still won by 9 points. So which is the right narrative here? Do you feel encouraged if you're a Lakers fan thinking, oh, look, they shot crappily and they still only lost by 9? Or do you feel encouraged as a Suns fan knowing, hey, if Paul had played, the gap would have been even wider?
I mean, here's the thing, though. You literally got someone ejected midway through the game. And that's the only – because they were down like 11 or 12. And in that random scramble, the stuff that happened, there were random like foul calls. You had a random loose ball that happened and ended up with a 3-point swing on an and one. The Lakers did not look good. If anything, this should be the same way that a lot of Laker fans started panicking that they ended up in the play-in game in the first place. They should still be panicking because you know what this reminds me of? As a loyal Mavs fan that will never forget, LeBron James, Dwayne Wade, and Chris Bosh's ass on the Miami Heat coming up against the Dallas Mavericks that played as a team. There was obviously a superstar in Dirk, but the team was firing on all cylinders, and LeBron was nowhere to be found. The fact that we were in the middle of the fourth quarter and LeBron had put up, 18 points? Yeah. It's not a LeBron James stat line. If you're doing that, you better have 20 motherfucking assists. That is not acceptable. And so, especially with now the Laker fans that are so quick to call AD overrated, y'all need to sit down somewhere and shut the fuck up. Like that, that's insane. But there is something to be said. He looks a little bit like Paul George has been coming over to the Clippers, trying to be that extra answer for Kawhi Leonard. Yeah. Like whether it's he's still injured or his heart's not in it or something that's off. He's reminding me a lot of that Paul George sickness of like he's not doing what he was brought here to do. So I'll say this. I don't think this is a sweep, but I don't think the Lakers make it out of this. I think it might go as far as 7 games, but I think the Suns just showed they're fucking hungry. And they earned that second seed for a reason.
If this goes 7, I think it does. That's when if it goes 7, that's when you see it possibly swing LA's way. Mm-hmm. That's the worst. That's the worst case scenario for Phoenix out of this. Phoenix has to take them out in 6. If nothing else. And Phoenix is just the better team.
Yeah, they look really ready.
Let's just call it for what it. Yes, everybody's gonna say the Lakers are the champs, but Phoenix is the better team.
Yeah. And let's take a look at what you were talking about here, Jay, real quick. Let's take a look. Here's LeBron showing that he got hit in the face. And let's take a look at a slow motion shot of this. Here's Toscano coming up on him. Oh, no hit. No hit at all in the face.
My God, my face.
That's hilarious.
And there's LeBron playing it up. So
no, and then the shot from the game where LeBron is in after shoots the free throw, right? Free throw bricks. He's in the air, falls on his own body, and goes, somebody help me, God. You see Alex Caruso get shoved. Montrezl Harris is a real one. He come over like, hey, fan. And the thing was, he was trying to catch him.
Did you see that? He realized he didn't hit the brakes fast enough, so he knew if he didn't attempt to stop old boy to go flying to the ground,
he was going flying.
So he literally ran in like this. Hold on, let me try not to break all my shit. He came in talking about.
He was like, "You good? You good? You okay? But it's when you have combustible elements like this.
Yeah.
Because what's going to happen? Everybody keeps saying, LeBron got to get in their ass in the locker room. LeBron got to get in their ass. Okay, that's going to happen. Right. But again, if somebody is trying to tell me that the Lakers are the better team, if the Lakers were the better team, the Lakers would not have had to play in to get in the playoffs.
Right. Good point.
I don't care about, because people go like, what about injuries? Every team deals with, come on, fam, not Adam Silver.
So I couldn't resist putting that up on the screen. The Lakers' big three there. Adam Silver's Caruso. So,
but I'll tell you this though, as much of a dumpster fire as the Lakers have been the last few weeks, and have essentially kind of barely scrapped their way into the playoffs, they're not the most embarrassing team in Los Angeles right now.
Yeah, true.
Again.
I mean, they're not the most embarrassing Los Angeles team. Yeah, man, listen.
We'll definitely get to that.
Hey, man, just when you know how you say blow up the team? Yeah. Like, I mean blow up the Clippers. Like, get rid of the team. Now, don't kill the players. Get rid of the team. Like, nobody, because the Clippers, every time they're like, the Clippers going to do it. Do what?
I'll tell you what they need to do. Honestly, and I think it would invigorate the shit out of them. It sounds weird to say get rid of a team out of the city. Seattle has been clamoring for a goddamn team since they was stolen away from them. Send them to Seattle, revive the Supersonics. I think the energy that will come out of that will actually make them good.
Well, and it isn't like the Clippers haven't moved before. So
I mean, why not Vegas? Go join the Oakland.
Yeah, go join
Raiders. Hey, that's where their last LA team went.
They got a whole basketball stadium over there waiting on the team. Y'all playing. You playing.
That's true. They got
the Raiders now. Throw another LA team up there.
Why wouldn't Vegas acquire a team? Vegas like, yo, let's get a bat. Look, they already about to start making hella money. They're making hella money now just from just regular sports betting. With the Raiders being there now, they make money. Can you imagine if Vegas had a pro team? They be betting off the first assist of the game. Like who gets the first reap, man?
Yeah,
this is not a bad point. David says, "Oh, sorry, this is where was it?" Patrick Glanville says, "Some Balmer has deep Seattle roots, also." So not a bad suggestion for sure. We'll see.
Bring back the Supersonics, though, right? Would you call them Supersonics? Or
hell yeah.
You can't change that. They got to be
the same way that Charlotte bided their time to get New Orleans to let go of the Hornets. I think you do the same thing. To be honest with you, I know that the Jazz have been in Utah so long. y'all know the origin that the original Jazz were from New Orleans, which makes sense.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, they not damn bit of jazz in no damn
It should have been the Utah Mormons, like the
Lakers are called the Lakers because they're originally not from
Minnesota.
Yeah, they're from
Utah,
Minneapolis.
I feel that, but I mean, fuck, call them what, like the Utah Sister Wives or something? Like, don't don't do this.
I know what the name of it is. The Utah's WLBMs.
Oh no,
the Utah's We Love Black Men. Now
there you go.
Lord,
I think you can get that by Dwayne Wade. All right, listen. Before
Have
we
you
this
not
game,
been to Salt Lake City? Listen, they love black men out there. They just don't like black people.
It's something new to them. Of course they love it. All right, so
it ain't new. It ain't new. It's about Nick.
Lord.
All right, before we move past the game, let's talk about this real quick. LeBron James apparently will not be punished for recently attending a promotional event for Lobo 1707 tequila, despite the NBA forbidding any player to go to any indoor and outdoor gatherings with more than 25 people. James declined to address this afterwards, just said, I'm getting ready for game two. The NBA did not place him on the 10 to 14-day quarantine list because the event was held outside and guests were required to show proof of vaccination or a negative COVID-19 test. That's what the rules are in the NBA. LeBron still has not said that he has taken the vaccine or not taken the vaccine. Schroeder is the only one who's come forward and said he's taken the vaccine on the Lakers team, but Frank Vogel said 85% of the team will be vaccinated by Tuesday, by the time of the game tomorrow night. So, JT, I go to you on this. LeBron skirting the punishment, or do you think this is a fair call because we're all kind of getting out there already? They got fans in all the stands for the games now. Do you think this is a kind of overblown thing?
Yeah, listen, Adam Silver is no dummy. He wants LeBron on that court to make the money for the ratings. He's gonna need the golden boy of basketball is gonna do something a little bit more harsh to get in trouble and get suspended a game or something. They're not gonna take LeBron out of the playoffs as soon as the playoffs start.
Yeah,
so,
I'm LeBron James, bitch.
Yeah, exactly.
Basically, yeah.
That's what it is.
LeBron's, he's a model citizen. I think past comes into play.
Right.
He's the golden boy of the NBA. I'm sure Adam Silver and him have a great relationship. I don't think he's going to do anything that anger him or put him on the sidelines.
Right. Can I say this?
If this is Rodman, he'd be suspended. Yeah. Go ahead.
One big thing. It was our test. There's the number one thing we need to make sure we say and just be true. Yeah. It is, so what Schroeder said that he's vaccinated. If LeBron James is or isn't vaccinated, guess whose business it is? Ours. None of ours. It's none of our business.
My bad.
It's none of our business. He doesn't have to. He doesn't have to tell us. No. Why does he have to tell you that he's vaccinated? It's none of you. Are you going to be directly around LeBron James? No. So you don't need to know.
He could. I don't know. I could run into him in the street. I never know.
Sure, I could run into him now.
But also, it's what JT said. You really look. If LeBron got to go, Phoenix got to take him out. And if Phoenix undeniably takes him out, then it's a thing. If it gets to the point where it looks like Phoenix is about to take them out, and all of a sudden these refs get real wonky with calls, you know what's happening. But again, it's not our. I mean, LeBron has to do this thing. LeBron's the face of the league. I get it, but he don't have to get. Look, at the end of the day, by that standard, everybody that's a big name celebrity should get vaccinated on TV live. If you're literally going to go through that theory, and that's just not going to happen.
It's not going to happen. You're right.
I think you should redo the decision. Call it the decision part 2.
You're savage.
Globally, whether or not I'm going to take the vaccine.
You know what? I've been sitting thinking about this.
And then you got like CVS, Walgreens, all fighting for him to go to their place.
You know what? I've chosen Moderna.
CVS on Crenshaw.
CVS on Crenshaw.
I've chosen Moderna, and it's like, sorry, you don't get the juice there. Here's your Pfizer shot.
They were like, no, they're going to hit LeBron with the A, nigga. You've been playing this game. Don't get this Johnson & Johnson. You gave me the Johnson. Look, as somebody who has the Johnson & Johnson shot, I can joke about it.
Yeah, that's fair enough. All right, let's move on to our next game here. Luka Doncic at 31 points to help What the hell's that noise? Don't make that noise on the microphone.
I'm sorry. I'm shuffling cards. My bad.
Nigga, why are you shuffling cards?
No,
That's what I thought it was. I was like, that sounds like somebody is shuffling a deck of cards. What is the? It was the old Kevin Hart joke with his sons. His two sons at the barbecue were like kind of grinding on each other. He's like, is someone shuffling cards? Like,
you say Bob Newhart said that?
No, Kevin Hart. All right. Anyway, Luka Doncic at 31 points, and the Mavericks outshot the NBA's leading team from 3-point range, beating the Clippers 113-102 on Saturday. Tim Hardaway Jr. remember him? He had 21 points, and Dorian Finney-Smith had 18 for the Mavs. Doncic and Hardaway Jr. each made 5 3-pointers. Finney-Smith had 4 to help Dallas shoot 47% from long range. That is tough. The Clippers gave up 68 points to 4 other players besides Doncic, including 14 to Kristaps. Kawhi battled back a little bit, had 26 points, 10 rebounds. Paul George had 23 points himself, but they were a combined 3 of 14 on 3-pointers, and the Clippers were 11 for 40 in that game after having led the league in the NBA at 41% during the regular season. We saw last year how the Mavericks kind of own the Clippers mentally a little bit here. Winston, are we seeing a repeat? Is Luka just the wrong player for this team and just has no fear of these Clippers and enjoys burying them when he plays them?
Let me ask you a question, Rocha. Did you see the game by chance?
Yeah, I did. I watched the game, yes.
So I only watched the game on replay. I already saw the outcome. Let me tell you where I was on Sunday. Sunday or Saturday? I want to say it was Saturday.
It was Saturday, the game.
That's what I thought. Okay, right. So I all of a sudden am seeing all over Twitter this photo of all 3 Clippers like, yeah! And like, homie, like all you see is just white legs sticking out from behind the goal. And I was like, oh, Lord, we done got our shit pushed in, until I look at all the comments like, this aged well. Like, oh, man, y'all should have been worried about the scoreboard instead of looking tough and shit like that. Right. And then I saw what we did. I watched the game on replay. The one thing that stood out to me, the Clippers threw literally everything at Luka except for Kawhi Leonard.
Yep.
So it sounds like what they need to do if they want a shot at this, they need to make Kawhi decide to try and guard Luka. Yeah. Now, even if that happens, I still don't know if the Clippers can pull it off, but you have a far and away better chance of doing that, considering he's a 2-time Defensive Player of the Year, than anything else they've tried. Yeah. And I'll tell you right now, the same way that we just sexed about them the very first game of the year, if they don't get their act together, we're going to just waltz right past them and do it. Like, I genuinely see this Mavs team playing the way that the championship level Mavs played, as they played as a unit. You have the superstar, but the whole team is firing on all cylinders. Yeah. And so it would literally take a Suns, a Lakers to take their head out of their ass, something like maybe the 76ers out of the East, in order to stop what this team just did, because Luka is seeing things that don't make sense and elevating everybody around him. I don't know what is wrong with the Clippers. I don't know if, like Jay brought up before, if they need to move, if there's like this loser mentality that's there, because they have shown that they are a force to be reckoned with in the regular season for almost a decade and a half now, but never could get it done. Yeah. I don't know what's in the water, man, but this looks bad. And now you kind of understand why Doc Rivers said, fuck this shit, I'm out. Fucking bounce, man. So
yeah. JT, I mean, the Mavericks look fantastic. They looked ready for this game against the Clippers. Paul George he was shooting air balls in a couple of quarters, man. He was having trouble staying in this game. And what Winston said is absolutely right. Tyronn Lue did not put Kawhi Leonard, his defensive player of the year, didn't put him on Luka, and he said afterwards everyone's going to get what they want now. Kawhi is going to guard Luka, but does he trust Paul George to pick up the offensive slack if Kawhi is having to get run down a little bit by chasing Luka all over the floor?
So this game, this is one of the games I didn't get a chance to sit down and just watch from beginning to end. So I had to watch a lot of highlights afterwards and some of the post-interview stuff. And this goes for, I think, a lot of the games that we talked about, we're going to talk about. Yeah. Whatever team stars showed up, that team won. The teams whose stars kind of struggled, like LeBron and AD, Paul George and Kawhi in this one, they lost. I think this just shows you the league's much more about what star is going to step up big. Trae Young was the biggest star in that court, and he showed why at the end of that game. That's I think the issue with RJ Barrett up and coming, Derrick Rose coming, showing life. They don't have a star like Trae Young. RJ Barrett could be that in a couple of years, but to me, it's like I watched Dallas and their stars showed up, so they won the games. But that's why I don't think a lot of times you watch these first games, you're like Clippers are in trouble. I think it's too early. I think because in game 2. George and Kawhi, they could show up, and then it could be they could blow them out for all you know.
That's why they say playoff P.
Yeah. So for me, the first games, I try not to overreact to the first game because when I look at the the stats and like what actually happened in these games, whatever team stars show up, that team won. When both teams stars show up and are going right at it, that's I think when you really get a feel of how the rest of the series is going to go. Listen, it's great to get that first W. I think Dallas. It's putting the pressure on the Clippers for sure, but it's just too early to be like, I don't know, Clippers are in trouble, Lakers are in trouble. Like I've seen this too many times where it's like, yep, and then they go and sweep somebody like 4 games afterwards. I don't think that'll happen with Dallas. I think Dallas has to, but Porzingis could have a bad game. Even
sure,
all it takes is for one of those guys to have a bad game and see what happens.
Sure.
Paul George unfortunately has a pretty long track record of not showing up in the playoffs, so. If you're a Clippers, you got to be a little more worried about that than I think like you would for AD or LeBron. But we'll see. I'm curious to see how Game 2 I think is going to. I'm going to feel so much more confident how these series are going to go after Game 2 of all these series.
If I may, you say if Porzingis has a bad game, Josh. Here's the deal. That's why you have a Luka who knows if Porzingis falls off. Luka knows. All right, I'm already up here. Let me just amp it up higher. So it's not a big worry. That's the thing with Dallas. So we joke all season about Dallas, and we would joke, but you don't have to worry if Luka's playing. If Porzingis don't have to be at this all-star level, as long as Luka holding his weight and above, you good. Now when it comes.
Paul and Kawhi, though, if they're both,
but that's what I was about to say. What I was about to say.
That's the
that's the difference. Now you got to see if Kawhi and PG gonna bring their game, because if they do, then this should be a series. But the two of them need to be in sync, and this needs to happen every game. You can't have every other game or whenever you feel like it. PG and Kawhi got to be that 1-2 combo every game.
But see, that's why I think both LA teams are in trouble. You are banking off of the fact that both of your stars have to show up. It can't just be one. The difference is the Mavericks are that much more lethal if Porzingis shows up, but Luka has proven if Luka is just Luka, that the rest of the team does what they need to do to get the W. That's the thing. If you can't look at your team to have one person take over, because I think of all the Powell Kobe situations where Kobe was almost always at least a 6 or a 7, if not all at his automatic 10. And then Powell could actually fluctuate between like a 5 and a 10 depending on the day, and they could handle their business. That's not how either of these teams function. You need both of their stars to be on. And that's dangerous when you see that Paul George is inconsistent, and apparently so is AD. That's where they're in some serious trouble.
Well, what I'm worried with both Clippers and Dallas in the long run is they are 2 of the best 3-point shooting teams in the league. And I can't tell you how many times you've seen playoff teams that are great at threes. Then they have that one game 6 or 7 where they are at like 20% from 3-pointer. It happens every year.
Well, that's what happens when you bank your whole team around that, just a 3-pointer.
Exactly. I mean, they don't live or die by it, but it's a huge aspect of what they're good at. And if they're hitting them, they're so hard to beat. But listen, I've seen so many teams who are great all season long, and then they have that one game where no threes are going in. Celtics have had plenty of games like that in the past couple of years. We're one of the better 3-point shooting teams. And then that one game where none of the threes are going, it's like, wow, how did this team even get here? But, unless you're like Golden State, when you had the Splash Brothers, they're the ones that were able to do it consistently. Those teams that when they won those championships were just so deadly accurate past the 3-point line. And I don't think any of these teams are that deadly. Like you think about those Golden State 3-point shooting teams. But
yes,
we'll see.
They're not Splash Brothers dangerous. I'll give you that. But I think the difference is that I look at the Suns. I look at I look at Dallas. You've got two incredible leaders on those teams that even when they're playing bad, they're still whooping people's asses, and not necessarily like a blowout, but they're even if they're down by like a 3-pointer, you're like, this should be a blowout. But Chris Paul is willing them to win. Luka is willing them to win. Even if they lose, they're barely losing. And so that's my only thing that worries me for both LA teams. This isn't like some random scrub team in any given Sunday situation. You're all professionals and whatever.
Right.
This is kind of indicative of what has happened to them and plagued them throughout the year. So I see people saying, well, how many times did you see LeBron James lose the first game and then he bounces back? Sure. But let's remember, LeBron has already said that, you know what, I'm never really going to be at 100% again. So LeBron is not fully LeBron. He has to be like, and look like he got punched in the mouth to try.
He has to be like, what? He has to be like, what?
In order to stay in there. And again, I get so concerned about Kawhi. Kawhi not as much, mainly Paul George, but Kawhi has proven he can't do that by himself. You know what I'm saying? So
that's for sure. All right. Oh no, we got some Streamlabs we're going to answer in just a second. Let's finish this next game and then we'll talk about it for sure. So send in your Streamlabs if you want to get us to answer it here in just a second.
What's to put in headphones?
I have to wait until that's fine. I'll just mute right now.
The Streamlabs address is right above Winston's head. It's also in the chat and in the description. So let's go move on to JTE Celtics here. After struggling in the first half, Kevin Durant, Kyrie Irving, and James Harden, they went off in that second half. Durant had 32 points and 12 rebounds. Overall, Irving scored 29 points, and Harden finished with 21 points, 9 rebounds, and 8 assists to lead them over the Celtics 104-93. In the first half, the three of them combined to go 0 for 11 from three-point range. Then they came out of the locker room and went on an 18-4 run and pretty much put this thing to bed. Jason Tatum only scored 22 points, shooting 6 for 20, which of course is completely different than the 50 points he had against my Wizards. So JTE, just like you said a few minutes ago here, that one team's superstar showed up at least in the second half, and another team's superstar did not show up as strongly as he had in the past. And in the end, these Celtics were already suffering with injuries and with players who can't play, struggle against these Nets. Do you think this was the best effort they could deliver here against these Nets, and this is the best they're going to do, and it's going to be a sweep? Or do you sense that maybe Jalen's going to bounce back from this and kind of carry this team in the second, or Jason rather, in the second game?
I don't think we'll get swept. There'll be one game where Tatum goes off that will let them eke by with a win. You know, you watch the game, and part of it is like, yes, I think Brooklyn just got off to a slow start. Any lead in the first half against Brooklyn Nets is fool's gold because you have a three-headed monster who can explode and take over the game, or they could all three of them or two of them could do it at once. So I don't feel like unless we're up by 25 points or more in the third, fourth quarter, I'm not taking any victory laps until the W is on the board, because I just think Brooklyn has too much talent. I think Jaylen Brown, if we had Jaylen Brown, we would have a chance. I think Jaylen Brown, but Kemba Walker would have to play great, and so would Tatum. I just think with what they have, a limited bench, not a lot of depth. It's just kind of, do your best, try to, earn some respect. Just get ready to go home early, because Durant, Harden, and Irving. That's you said one team superstar showed up. One team superstar didn't really show up, and it's kind of hard when you're taking on three superstars. So,
well, I mean, Kemba Walker should be showing up for this thing. He is considered a superstar as well. He only had 15 points and 2 assists as the point guard of the team. So listen, those are those situations. He was 21 in the plus minus when he was on the court. That's horrific.
I've been calling for a Kemba Walker trade since beginning of the season. I think
that's true.
He just hasn't looked. He's just so up and down. He's not the kind of guy who's just going to take over a game. It's not looking good.
Marcus Smart shot better than Kemba Walker. That's insane. That should not be
happening. That's not good
in any way, shape, or form. Jay, did you see anything here from this team, from this Boston Celtics team, that would give the Nets any kind of trouble if now they've kind of woken up and understand what this team can bring to the table and they're ready for it?
Kemba Walker is overrated. First of all, Kemba Walker everybody was like, yo, Jordan grabbed Kemba. Kemba gonna be like this. And everybody started looking at Kemba's like, this dude? And that's what we're seeing. And if he's not showing up, look, I don't know what happened in that locker room for Brooklyn. But somebody told them, yo, pardon my expression, we didn't pay for all you motherfuckers. Y'all better show up.
I think Slim Shady had some words to say.
Somebody had to say something because that's the only way the three of them come together and start doing that in the second half. Somebody said, I swear to God, if y'all don't play, we'll cut all you bitches. We'll let all, because again, if they don't play together like they did in the second half of this game, this is Boston's game.
Yeah.
Regardless of Kemba Walker showing up or not. This is Boston's game. Right. All of a sudden, you got the three of them get on the same page. The question becomes, do they stay on the same page?
Yeah, Winston.
I think it was a slow start. It happens a lot in the playoffs. I think, but it was halftime. They're like, "Oh yeah, I forgot we're in the playoffs. Let's go out there and do our thing."
Flick that switch.
They just flicked that switch and came out. Was like, kick that ass.
Yeah, did they go? Good.
No, that's it. There's no hope.
Winston A. Yeah, did they scare you a little bit? How they were able to just flick that switch in the middle of a game and just start taking off and stomping on these Celtics? Did that surprise you at all?
No, because I think the only thing that we were ever concerned about is, are these cats going to be actually ready to play when it comes because of either not playing games or just injury? And that's the thing. You're dealing with two former champions. You're dealing with a former MVP, maybe one of the most prolific MVPs we've seen scoring wise.
Yeah.
I don't think so. I think that's what the Nets kept trying to like make sure everybody understood. We don't really give a shit about the regular season. We'll make it to the playoffs. If everybody's ready to go, good luck stopping us. You know what I'm saying? Like they're all in. So I'm not surprised by this at all, because how many times has Kyrie been like, all right, time to go? How many times has KD been like, all right, time to go? How many times has James Harden been like, all right, time to go? Yeah. So there's a reason why people were mad and like, stop cheat coding this shit. Like that's not what the hell? So
another side of this, too, is that they started Joe Harris and Blake Griffin with the big three for the first time ever. This is the first time that lineup has started all season. Nash put them in there, and they were falling. I don't know how you start Blake Griffin in a playoff basketball game. That makes no sense to me.
It's called throw shit at the wall and see what sticks. Let's see what happens. Let's just see. Oh, this shit don't work. You go back to being the seventh man. Like, what? I'm not even the sixth? No.
Yeah. And Kyrie Irving trolled your Celtics there wearing green sneakers for the game, bro. That's rough. That's him getting a little shot in. But Kevin Durant did move past Tony Parker, former San Antonio Spurs Tony Parker, into ninth place on the career playoff scoring list. Durant has 4,075 points. Parker had 4,045 points. The Nets have won 8 straight playoff games against the Celtics, and they are 9-2 with a 6-game victory in the 2002 Eastern Conference Finals and a sweep in the 2003 East Semi. So the history of the track is not good for the Celtics in this situation.
They're still mad when we traded them Garnett and Pierce. They were like 1 foot in the retirement. I think they're mad at us.
That's true. That's true. Paul Pierce didn't win that series, though. Let's get into these 4 Streamlabs that have come through. Hill Nellum says, tough loss for my Knicks last night. You can say that again. But seeing how the majority of the team played, I still have confidence they can win this series if Randall can get back to what he was doing all season. He was pressing himself a bit too hard to score last night. Yeah, guys, Julius Randle, JT, once again, I go back to what you said here. Julius Randle didn't show up for these Knicks as strongly as he had in the past. He's their star. He's the guy that needs to show up to give them a chance to win games. Didn't quite, I think he had like 20 points last night, whereas Trae Young did the business here, got that last second shot. This is an interesting situation. Do you guys have any faith that the Knicks will bounce back against these Hawks, or do these Hawks look like they're ready, kind of like these Suns do?
Pick me.
Really
all right, go ahead, Winston. Go ahead, Winston.
All you need, as a matter of fact, I'll show you. I'll tell you the answer right here.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to screen share. This is
allow it.
No, I know, but that's
I think
fine.
It's allowed. Yeah, go ahead.
Right there. That explains everything. You see how
leave Spike alone.
No, but Spike literally, especially because Trae hit him with this. This is so indicative of this. Yeah. I swear to God, like the Knicks know exactly what time it is.
It's a Miller time situation.
Oh my God. So it's not that the Knicks couldn't come through and maybe win the series, but that creeping doubt that has plagued the poor New York Knicks since Phil Jackson won a title for them back in the 70s is kind of just circulating all over again.
Yeah, it was tough to see. It was tough to see for sure for those poor Knicks fans. But yeah, I mean, they handled their business, and we'll see. We'll see if you guys bounce back. Because sometimes when and Thibodeau, I don't know if Thibodeau's the best in the playoffs. That's the honest truth there. And I got a feeling that these Hawks are ready to prove something to some people. Alex Tornai say, hey, which LA team has more pressure on them after losing game one of their respective playoff series? It's got to be the Clippers for me. I see significant changes coming if they don't get past Dallas. Will they break up PG-13 or Kawhi if they lose? Jay, do you think the pressure is more on the Clippers? Because the Lakers already won a title last year with all their situation and injuries and stuff. Like if they go out, I don't think it's that much of a shame, especially to the Suns. But if these Clippers go out to the Mavs, that's a hell of a hit for them to take. And you got to break this thing up, right?
Yeah, well, you just answered your own question.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
You answered the question. We all know what that. Who don't know what that answer is, though? Yeah. Everybody knows if this. Look, we said last year, it's the bubble, it's the mental health situation, it's everything getting together, learning to jail, blah 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 blah. Now shit's real. If it don't work, it's the same thing. Because you brought it up earlier with the original big three in Bosh, LeBron, and D Wade. How that first year was like, okay, let's just see what happens. But if it don't work the second year, blow it up. It worked. This is the second year. If this don't work, you know it's not going to work. There's nothing you can do but just sit around and look at the two of them together and then keep having Russell Westbrook over. It wants to just make it triple doubles. And somebody like, hey, man, you want to come here? Like,
you leave Russell alone, man. He's staying with the Wizards. You leave Russell
I know that's how you don't want to. You ain't letting Russell go out the Wizards. That's what I'm saying. Because that call get put in talking about some. Hey, so y'all want Paul George? Anybody want Paul George? Like they'll put Paul George out there and nobody will bite.
Yeah, I think that's what's crazy, Winston JT. I mean, Paul George now looks like almost kind of damaged goods. He gets it done in the regular season, but in the postseason, he doesn't show up. This could be an issue here because at least the first year of the Heat, they went to the finals. They just didn't win it. So at least they got to the finals. This team doesn't look like it might even get out of this round. What do you guys think? Who is more in danger here?
I would say that the Clippers are, because the other thing we got to keep in mind, they're on that's a 5-game playoff losing streak. Yeah, like there's something specific that happens to the Clippers in the playoffs. Now, the only thing that I will give them credit for, the Mavericks did this to them last year too, where we went up that first game and everybody's like, "What the fuck?" And then we gave them, and I tried to tell everybody, I was like, "Look, we may not win this series, but we just gave the Clippers the business, and they ain't gonna do nothing." And as soon as that was a 6-game series that it took for them to get away from us, and then they got just abused the next round. Yep. So I think that there is more pressure on the Clippers because, like you said, at least the Lakers got it done once.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And if they don't get out of this, it's like, well, they were dealing with injury all year. Yeah. So there's a little bit of a pass there. But it's still not good for the Lakers if they don't pull it off. But I think the Clippers have more pressure right now.
Absolutely. Alex Tornite also said, after the loss to Memphis and the tension between Mitchell and the team, do you see the Jazz collapsing to a hot Grizzlies squad in the first round, or will they rally and move on? We're going to talk about that game, but quickly, JT, what do you think here on this one? There's some tension here because Donovan Mitchell was a late scratch for game one against these Grizzlies for the Jazz, and Mitchell was apparently super pissed because he was ready to play, he was good to go, but the training staff, the medical staff who gives the final clearance did not approve him to play. He said he's going to be ready. He even came out at halftime on the mic and said to the fans there, I will be ready come game 2. Sorry, I can't ball out tonight. You know I want to be out there on the court. So do you see that? I mean, Mitchell had issues with them last year too. So even Dwayne Wade coming in as owner, do you see problems here?
No, I think it's the kind of problem you want to be having. You're got a player who cannot wait to get on the court. The guy is excited. He's in the playoffs. They have the number 1 seed. Yeah. He wants to be in there. I think when he comes out for game 2, it's going to be like Ghost Rider, head full of fire, just tearing through and kicking ass. I think they're going to make a statement with game 2. In my opinion, I think Mitchell is a great player, and look how good they were doing without him. I think Memphis was just riding maybe some of the heat from their last win to get into this playoffs. And that was probably the biggest surprise of the weekend. I would say, I'm not surprised the Suns beat the Lakers, or I'm not shocked that Dallas beat the Clippers. Honestly, the biggest surprise was this Utah game. But I think if anything, listen, I think Utah's is a wake up call, and I think they'll come out game 2 blazing. We'll see.
Yep. What do you guys think, Jay?
Here's the thing. Number one, if the trading staff is like, fam, listen, we got this here. I don't think it's because I don't think we can put that on Dwayne Wade.
I'm just saying,
when the training staff is like, hey, bro, we playing safe, then sorry. Can you take as much as Donovan mentioned? All athletes are like, yo, I can do this. I can do this. And the training staff is like, tomorrow, like that's how they like. That's basically what they told me. Like, hey, bro, look, you gonna play? Just we need to make sure that beyond a shadow of a doubt, there is nothing that can happen because we need to know what happens after this game, how everybody plays, and how you can fit in with that. Then you can play. And for him to go on the mic, it basically was like, "Hi guys, listen, I'm Donovan, right? I want to be out here. No racial slurs. I will be out because you got to tell the Jazz fans." Look, don't use that word. I will be here next game. Like,
do you remember was the injury a hamstring or ankle? I can't remember.
I think it's the ankle. Yeah,
the ankle. Okay, I was just curious.
Yeah. What about you, Winston? Any thoughts on this?
On which particular?
On Donovan, and it maybe being some simmering tension here between him and the Jazz.
I think he will come in and do what he needs to do in order to kind of finish out this year, whether that means this series or the playoffs, like if they somehow go the distance. But I think that once this year is over, he's going to be out there because this isn't the first time that we've seen this. Yeah. I think this is one of those things where he's like, look, I'm not just going to blow an opportunity to win a chip because I'm pissed, but I don't need to be around when this is over.
Yeah.
Is his contract done after the season?
Oh, good question. Let me take a look at that.
If it is, watch all of a sudden the Utah Jazz get money out of nowhere to throw at Donovan because that's a dude you do not want. Look, that's one of those players you have where you're like, what is it going to take to fix this? Now you have some players who are just like, nothing, I'm done. They just want to go. But if all of a sudden it's like, yo, give me this player and put this money around me. Yeah. I look with Dwayne Wade to be like, hi, guys, I'm hosting a Kickstarter to keep Donovan on the Jazz.
Well, I mean, his Joker is most likely going to win MVP this year. Like,
possibly.
Why would you want to leave that kind of player?
Yeah. Mitchell signed a 4-year contract extension last year.
So he's not going anywhere.
He's not going anywhere at this point. He's only making a base salary of $5 million.
But dude, you got him and Joker playing the way he's playing. Like,
yeah. Well,
they're going to be in the playoffs every year for the next 4 years.
That's true. If you can keep them, if you
keep
can keep
both of them,
yeah, absolutely. All right, let's see what else we got. We got one more here from Johnny Andia. Says, got to give a shout out to the Atlanta sports this weekend, and then Julio Jones and the Falcons news. Oh, well. Love the show, y'all. Thanks, John. Thanks, Johnny. We'll talk about both those things for sure. Actually, we'll talk about the Atlanta Hawks game next. Let's just jump that in the order. Trae Young made a runner in the lane with 0.9 seconds left to give the Atlanta Hawks a 107-105 victory over the Knicks. This was a hell of a game. So much fun to watch. My Hawks kind of smashed the Wizards down a couple times in the last couple of weeks, so I kind of got to know how good this team is watching them play, but I did not anticipate Trae Young coming out here like a killer, like a Grim Reaper out there. 32 points, 10 assists, 7 rebounds, and 15,000 people were in Madison Square Garden, including the aforementioned Spike Lee, watching this happen. And don't leave out Bojan Bogdanovic, who had 18 points for the Hawks. Alec Burks scored 27 for the Knicks. Derrick Rose had 17, Chicago's Derrick Rose there. And Julius Randle only shot, as I said, 6 of 23. I'm sorry, he had 15 points. 15, not 20. That is insane to think about. But this still went down to the last second. And let's take a look.
Pick me.
All right, go ahead, Jay. Yes, please.
Everybody's been saying Trae Young was going to do this to teams. It's been said for years that Trae Young was going to start doing this to teams, and people didn't believe it. And to silence the entire garden lets you know, don't play with that boy. Don't play with that.
I'll tell you this. I knew he was going to be a force like that, but I still stand by how that draft played out. The fact that they took Trae over Luka, I think was a mistake. I think when this is all said and done, they're both going to have Hall of Fame careers. I think they both make it to the Hall of Fame. I just think that when this is all done, we're looking at a Kobe-Tim Duncan situation where Tim has earned all of the accreditation in his own right, but nobody be talking about Tim Duncan the way they be talking about Kobe. You know what I'm saying? Like, I think that's how this will play out.
We'll see. I mean, JT, he had to bounce back from people from 15,000 people in unison saying "fuck Trae Young," and he came back and silenced them on that last
cold.
play.
That was cold. That was cold.
Shut the whole arena down.
Let's see if I can get this on right here. Yeah, let me see if I can play this here. All right, here. Oh no, wrong thing. Sorry about that. Go ahead, keep going. What do you think, JT? What do you think about what he did?
Yeah, like I don't know what that was, Jonah Hill.
It's my bad. Go ahead.
I'll say the team who had the biggest star on the floor won the game, and he came up in the biggest moment. And that's what stars do.
Yep.
So to me, that's what gives Atlanta the edge in this series. I think Thibodeau has done a great job coaching this team. A lot of people say
definitely
this New York team has played harder than the last 10 years of New York teams combined. Like every time they go on the court, you can tell they're diving for loose balls, they're hitting the boards. They're very, well-coached team who plays hard. And listen, nobody has the Hawks or the Knicks going very far in the playoffs.
Nobody does.
Nobody does.
Maybe Trae Young does, but nobody else does. Right.
So, to me, these are good games. This is going to be a good series.
Yeah.
I just think whatever team makes it out of here is probably going to have a rough time doing very well in the next series. But it's exciting to watch this series because these are two teams who are on the cusp of being really good teams. Yeah. But New York is one really great player away from being a contender.
Yeah.
Same thing you can say same thing about Atlanta. Atlanta has a lot of weapons, but I don't get to watch as many Atlanta games as I would like to. Mm-hmm. Trae Young has been known in the past for kind of maybe hogging the ball too much, shooting and forcing some shots. This was his first playoff game, I believe. And I think he just hit the floor. He could not wait to get in a playoff game, and I think he showed it. I think he stepped up bigger than anybody else in that game.
Some of these young kids, they step up. They understand the game, and they step up and show you what they got. Let's take a listen to the Garden right now as they drop it on them. Hold on, I keep forgetting to hit the share audio. Listen, I can figure this out. God damn it! I had this all set up. All right, let's do one more time.
Let's hear it.
Let's hear the audio. All right.
3 years, they're psyched to be back in the postseason.
Wow, I mean, they started early. They started early, huh?
In the first quarter, they were going at it.
In the first quarter. We'll give a shit about you right now.
4-2, and they're already saying that. Wow.
The only thing about that sucks is then how do you introduce your small children to basketball? And this honey is where we chant "fuck Trae Young." You know what I'm saying? Because I love how sometimes you'll get announcers being like, "We apologize for the colorful language right now." Because what else you gonna do?
I thought Mike Green was gonna say that. He didn't. He just stayed silent. He's like, "I'm not getting involved in this at all."
Do you need them to yell at the broadcast booth? Somebody getting a text message, "Hey man, they said that y'all ain't shit down there."
And Trae nailed his shot. Here he is doing that. He said, "Shut your mouth. Shut your mouth." Right there.
Oh, you can hear that.
Spike. And there's Spike.
But wait, you can hear. I'm glad you can't play the audio. But
no, I can't. I don't want to play.
You can hear the air leave the Garden when he hits that shot. Everybody yeah, he hits, and then it just goes.
Yeah.
You hear a pin drop.
It was incredible. That's the kind of nuts you need to have if you want to win a series and play NBA playoffs, man. Yeah.
You know what that reminds me of? It reminds me of probably my favorite Rush Hour quote. He's like, "I like to watch people talk who like to talk because it lets me know how full of shit they really are." Because it's literally the dude. It's the dude, the big dude in the movie, like, "Oh, whoop your tiny little ass up, motherfucker!" And Jackie Chan just sitting here like, "I don't want trouble." It's like, "I will fuck your shit up. I swear to God, little China man, you about to get this ass whooped." And then Jackie goes, boom, and then dude's on the ground. He's like, "I told you, I didn't want trouble." And then he just walks off. Now just imagine. What did Jackie eventually say in the credits? Like, my daddy wants to call a bullet with his bare hand, no bullshit. It was kind of like that. He's like, "I caught a bullet with my bare hand, no bullshit. Ice cold, nigga." And he just walked off. That was Trae Young. I don't.
And then did you see the video in the locker room? He was like, "It's real quiet out there."
Yeah. He didn't let it go. He did not let it go, man.
What's funny is that probably just built his MJ mentality, where he's like, and I took that personally, and now he's about to embarrass them for the rest of the series.
But every time, I guarantee it's probably gonna happen. Game 2, he finna hit a drop on their ass and be like, "Nah, do it again."
I will say though, Rush Hour is PG-13. Swaggy's dialogue was ad-libbed. That was a more R-rated interpretation of the scene.
Fair point. That's a fair point.
Thank you, JT. Thank you for that, JT.
It's available now in a 3-pack set that you can get on Amazon.
The movie was his lines were ad-lib. Those are not actually in the script. Even if you turn the closed captioning on, you will not see motherfuckers.
I think Jackie Chan hasn't done many rated R movies. The Foreigner was rated R though. I think
that was the most recent one where he's like an older. It's almost his Gran Torino.
There you go.
It's like a Taken / Gran Torino a little bit.
It took his daughter.
Yeah. That's true. It's the mix of the two. Yeah.
It was directed by Martin Campbell. I think that's why it was a good movie.
Look at him showing off his schmoed out chops right now. Respect, JT. I appreciate it. But yeah, definitely great stuff from Jackie Chan. The Foreigner. If you haven't seen The Foreigner, definitely watch The Foreigner. I think it's better than Taken. It's a fucking badass movie. A little more depth to it. And Pierce Brosnan playing a villain is always nice.
He's good.
Anyway, also Lou Williams showed up in this game with 13 points. So shout out to Sweet Lou because he has been playing like crap all season and showed up for this playoff game. Maybe this is what he's built, and maybe he'll be that extra kind of weapon they can have out there to help.
Magic City Wings. Hey, it's about Magic City Wings.
It's true. He's closer now, that's for sure. All right, let's see. F James 72 said, "I just started. It's too late for me to ask about the Dubs to stop passing the ball through 4 people." By the way, Rocha, Grandmama would wipe the Fab Five off the floor. Oh, man, fuck off, F. James. You know what? Larry Johnson can suck my balls, man. I'm telling you this right now. The Fab Five was the team, son. Chris Webber, Jalen Rose, man, get out. Jimmy King, get the hell out. Ray Jackson, Juwan Howard, please. UNLV, nobody remembers UNLV. They didn't revolutionize shit. They just showed up, won 1 title, got beat by Duke when they were the number 1 team in the title game, and then rolled on out of here. The Fab Five revolutionized basketball. They were a style. They were a trend. They changed everything, bro. No one was wearing black socks until the Fab Five showed up. All right. And the long shorts, too.
I haven't seen Rocha go off like that in a while. I've nearly only seen that essentially when he's doing outlaw promos. So that was a treat. That was certainly a treat.
I don't want no trouble.
I mean, that came out of nowhere.
I don't want no trouble. I don't want no trouble.
Don't come for my Fab Five. I don't want no trouble. Anyway, but thank you, F. James. Appreciate the very kind donation. And sorry for you Warriors, man. The Warriors had a shot here to get themselves in, but they hit a Lakers team that LeBron hit that 3-pointer, and then a Memphis team that really wanted to get in, apparently.
Again, Oscar-winning performance by LeBron James. Again, that is the only man. They hit me in the eye here, and I just saw 3, and I just shot for the middle. Shut the fuck up! Like everybody was.
Well, my other thing that's interesting, and this should be an indicator of the Lakers, in my opinion, are in a little bit of trouble. There is no reason that the Warriors, that is just Steph right now, should have pushed them to LeBron hitting kind of a luck 3-pointer. It should not have come to that. That says a lot about that. The Warriors did a great job, and Steph made his case for MVP this season. But no, sir. That should have been an opportunity for the Lakers to go, fuck y'all, this is who he is. You know what I mean?
Yeah, for sure.
And Wiggins played really great in that game. Defensively and offensively.
Yeah, but in the end.
But it's still Steph Curry basically by him goddamn self.
Yeah.
Steph all right, I'm just going to shoot from their locker room.
I will say this. This should scare the hell out of every other team in the NBA if Steph can do this without Klay Thompson. Because when Klay comes back, it's going to be lights out, ladies and
gentlemen. That's not true. If he's there mentally, remember, we're talking about.
If he's back there mentally, that's fair.
You got to be back mentally to do it. Because remember, you come back, you halfway to your rehab to come back, then you fucked up again. It's that Derrick Rose. We talked about this. It's just like D Rose was.
Yeah.
There's a mentality of the fear of getting hurt now.
Yeah.
Well, it's a little different to say Gordon Hayward, who broke his leg straight up in the game. I think that's a little more trouble. Those are the guys I worry about. Like Paul George had that same thing.
Yeah.
Like those are a little bit harder to come back. I still think 2 years is what's really hurts him. It was 1 year and it wasn't that serious, but 2 years. Yeah. What did he do? He tore his Achilles at one, and it was the
Achilles and then ACL.
Kobe was never the same. Achilles,
but
that's true.
But if it because Achilles are they can be death blows. The only difference though, Kobe's whole thing, like yes, he was like had transitioned into a jump shooter. Kobe's attacked the basket. That's not Clay.
Yeah.
Clay is a spot shooter.
I know. It's just,
you don't even have to touch the dribble the ball. He just finds position, boom, bang. That's the way Clay plays. Yeah,
it's all it's in the light. It's in light skin genes. There's a thing in black DNA where if you're light skinned, you're not
gonna do this. I'm not gonna let you do this.
There's a thing in black genes.
This is a Blurs in the Hood conversation.
Look at poor JTE. He's like, I don't even know how to respond to this. Don't do this. All right,
this is a real conversation in the black community. When you are light skinned with finger waves, you just know how to spot shoot.
Yikes.
And so
Jay coming for Klay Thompson. At least Larry Johnson's not still in the league. God damn. All right, let's move on. Let's move on before we get in trouble here. All right, Chris Middleton lifted
the light skin coalition? You want a bunch of niggas that sit like Prince to do this?
Hey,
no.
Apparently, Prince was amazing at basketball.
Oh wait, is he going across the hall to Jay's? I think he's going across the hall.
Wait, do you guys live next to each other now?
Not anymore.
Okay.
He in Hollywood now.
All right. Oh yeah, it was other ACL. Then he tore the Achilles. Yeah, probably compensating with his ACL. So yeah,
that's two of the worst injuries you could have.
I'm talking about how light skinned people take pictures with Rose in their mouth.
That's not wrong. That's not right.
God damn it! He had the Derrick Rose issue where it's like you hurt one leg. So then you overcompensate and you fuck up the other one. And so it will totally depend on what this does to his confidence. I agree. If it has fucked his confidence, then
yeah, true for sure. Before we move on to the next game real quick, just want to thank you guys. We're heading into the second hour. And thank you so much for watching us right now. I got over 150 of you. Would love it if you gave it a like. Give this video a like, please. That thumbs up button. If it's your first day on YouTube, please give it a thumbs up and give some love to it. If you're watching later, leave a comment and hit that like button as well. All right, let's move on to the next game here. Chris Middleton lifted the Bucks past the Heat in overtime of game one. I'm telling you, the Heat know how to play this team. They know how to play these Bucks like they did last year. Jimmy Butler got no fear. He didn't have as much up as he had last year, kind of sweeping or kind of beating these Bucks in this game one. But I think the Heat should be encouraged about what they were able to do against this team. Milwaukee was the number one overall seed last year, and they went out 4-1 to Miami. So winning one game here might be all you get if Miami figures you got out again. Giannis had 26 points, 18 rebounds, and 5 assists, but he only shot 10 of 27 overall. Middleton, as I said, had 27 points and led them in this game. Duncan Robinson scored 24 points for the Heat while shooting 7 of 13 from three-point range. Miami was 20 of 50 on three-pointers, while the Bucks were 5 of 31. And Milwaukee had never made less than 7 pointers in a game during the regular season. So that Miami defense kind of ratcheted it up here in the playoffs. So, Winston, I'll go to you. What do you feel about this Heat Bucks situation, man?
I mean, look, I remember last year. I don't know if Soul's watching. It doesn't seem like it. She'd be
Shout
quiet.
out to Soul.
Quiet. She's obsessed with the Miami Heat, and rightfully, there was a reason that they made it to the finals. It was just sad that they had that Jimmy didn't have anything left in the tank. Jimmy beat the entirety of the East by himself with like some supporting players coming in and doing what they need to do from time to time. If the Heat as a unit have learned from that and now are ride or die with Jimmy, dude, the 76ers could be out of here. The Nets could be out of here. Like, it sounds weird to say that, even though the Nets just decided all 3 superstars want to go off.
Yeah.
Bro, I think the other thing it says, though, no one would ever say that Giannis isn't a badass, but I think it says more about Giannis and how he just did not look. I would rather, at this point, take Jimmy buckets over Giannis. Real talk.
You know what? Because Jimmy wants to win the game. Giannis doesn't strike me as an alpha dog in any way, shape, or form. I think Giannis is a good player, strong player. When he's feeling it, he's almost unstoppable. But I don't think he's a leader of a team. And with Jimmy, he can do that. Even Jimmy was shot like shit for the game. I think he only had 17 points. Him and Adebayo, JT, they were 8 of 37 for the Heat. Butler was 4 of 22. Adebayo 4 of 15. If those guys show up, this game is over. So what do you take from this? Do you think the Heat just kind of let them get away with one here? It might be kind of figuring out these Bucks yet again for a second year in a row.
I think out of all round one, this is the best matchup. This is the best matchup. You have a Heat team coming off a finals visit. They have a lot of depth. Milwaukee has a lot of depth too. A lot of great shooters. The past MVP winner in Giannis. You got Jimmy Butler. I think this series could go 6 or 7, honestly. I think Milwaukee is a strong enough team where even if Miami's playing good, they can still match them. Listen, Miami should lose the series. On paper, I think, they were ranked lower. I mean, is Milwaukee the number 2 or 3?
Yeah, the 3 seed.
The 3 seed. So they're just a better team.
Yeah.
And Giannis, I agree, but I have seen Giannis be able to just take over games. Yeah. He might not have been all into this game, but they still pulled out the win in OT. Yeah. So for me, Milwaukee has all the pressure, but it's going to be a close series. I think this is the most evenly matched series we got so far in the playoffs out of all the games.
All right, Jay. I mean, you spoke about mental edge in the playoffs, the Clippers not having a mental edge here against these Mavericks. Do you think the same thing is happening? Kind of a mirror image in the other conference here with the Heat and the Bucks. Yes, the Bucks got the victory, but they had to go to overtime. And Chris Middleton, who has been, dinged with not being the most consistent player for the Bucks, had to show up and carry them, not Giannis here. So do you think Miami kind of owns them a little bit mentally and might take this series again?
Yeah, the fact that Jimmy Butler sat there and was doing Focus T25 and got extra swole on niggas. Like, Jimmy Butler was have you not seen Jimmy Butler?
He looks good.
He literally did like the Mike thing. Like, yo, I'm gonna make my body be more resilient to the abuse I might have to take in this series. Yeah. And that's helping that, the heart and the game that he has already is there. The rest of the team is slowly starting, but Adebayo got to step up a little more. But this could be Miami series. But if it's not Miami series, if it is Miami series, then it's a wrap on Giannis. He just re-signed.
Great point.
He just re-signed, but it's like, man, something got to give over there in Milwaukee.
Yeah, they talked all that stuff about getting Drew Holiday, Winston, and they were like, oh, Drew's the guy. Drew's our guy. He did have 20 points, but they required 20 points, and he didn't quite take over the game like you'd expect him to when Giannis wasn't doing his thing as strongly as he should have in the past. So, if this doesn't happen, are we looking at a mirror Clippers situation where they blow this whole thing up? Giannis is like, screw it, I'm not staying here anymore. Trade me, like Anthony Davis forced his way out of New Orleans.
Yeah, I mean, it might need to happen, to be honest with you. It just might need to happen because Milwaukee is another one of those teams that unfortunately is very Clippers-esque in that there's something in the air that even if they're good, they're not good. I don't know how else to put that. You know what I'm saying? Where like you need, I think you need a fresh start for the franchise, not just for the players. Obviously, for the players, they can leave and go get better. But like, there's just a few teams around the league that are just forever cursed. Minnesota, Milwaukee, the Clippers. Those are the 3 that immediately come to mind. That like, I don't know where this ever changes. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, all right, we'll see. We'll see for sure. I just have a feeling, and shout out to Soul who might be watching later. These Heat might be doing it again. Who knows? But Adebayo's got to show up. Adebayo's got to get more aggressive, man. They're leaving him. You're watching those highlights. They're leaving him out there for those mid-range jumpers, and he's not taking them, and he's kind of hesitating, doing these clumsy drives to the rim. He's got to be more aggressive if they're going to get to the finals again and shock people in the East.
I'll be right back. I got to take a quick phone call, but I'll be back in 2 minutes.
Okay. All right. Let's move on to
listen. It'll say like a kid from Perkins. It'll say Bam out of the Bayou. Bam out of the Bayou got to sit there and do. He got to play bigger as big man down there for Miami. I mean, if you don't do.
I can't say nothing, man. Exactly.
I had to stop myself because I just felt so bad. I just felt so bad. I was because
I'm glad
because Kendrick Perkins is getting millions. Be like, man, I would buy you. Like he getting millions. I'm getting hopefully something from a stream lab for saying that.
We'll see. Xavier Black Wiley says, speak your true self. Don't let Winston Lightskin hold you back. Love my guy, Jay. Can't wait to chop it up on the 28th. Love to all you guys. There you go.
Xavier Black Wiley is one of the members of the Supervillain Squad. We do the one-on-ones with the Supervillain session, and nice. I'll be doing his on the 28th. So,
yeah.
But about you.
Oh boy, I can't. I'm gonna get so much.
Womp.
Yeah, let's. F. James responded back, says, "You are correct. The 5-5 won how many titles? Wait a minute. Timeout. Wow, that's what you got. That's all you got. We didn't lose to an all-white Duke as an all-black UNLV team, did we? All right, let's move on to.
Hey. Wait. They done put in the 3-point shot for white people and light skin. Don't love. Of course it happened. Goddamn it.
Not gonna have me on this.
You know what? Maybe they did. They did lose to Duke. Never mind. All right, F. James, you win that round. All right, let's get to 100 likes as Sean is asking people to do. Big Sean Barreto here hanging out with us from the Outlaw Nation. Thank you, Sean. All right, let's move on to our next game while JT and Jay are off the thing. It's the Blazers. They beat the Nuggets here 123-109 pretty soundly, and a surprise victory for these Blazers. Damian Lillard had 34 points. 34 points and 13 assists. They did something no team has done the entire season. They held Nikola Jokic to 1 assist the whole game. 1 assist. He was averaging 8.3 assists per game. They figured out that if they can stop him and his assists, that they have a chance against these Nuggets. You know, the Nuggets already were struggling without Jamal Murray. Jamal Murray was there at the game, but like you start to shut down the Joker, who is, of course, as JT mentioned, odds-on MVP winner this season, then you might have the key you need to beat these Nuggets. The Blazers hit 19 of 40 shots from beyond the arc. Carmelo had 18 points. CJ McCollum had 21. It was Carmelo's first trip back to Denver in the playoffs with another team. He had, but he was doing his thing and showed up and showed out. So, Jay, I go to you on this one. What do you think about this? Do you like what the Blazers have done here? Do you have faith in Dame time one more time or no?
I don't. I have faith, but I just need them to go to the finals. I need them to win. I mean, I'm just going to be honest. There's only so much we can say, and we just talked about how Phoenix is that team in the West. We just talk about Phoenix as that team in the West. If Utah stays healthy, they could be the second team. It could be a toss-up between them two. So, like, if you're not looking at the Blazers getting past either one of them, let's just be honest. We're not. So, Dame can do all he's going to do. But until Dame he's going to be one of those players, a great player without a chip. And I get it. He's trying to bring that glory to Portland. I get it. But the way the rest of the West around him is being built, that is not going to happen.
Yeah. Good point. What do you think there, Winston? Do you think these Blazers figured this out once on these Nuggets and are doing their thing without Jamal Murray? Yeah, it was a nice story that they kept going. These Nuggets were playing so well. Aaron Gordon coming in that trade, doing well, sliding in seamlessly. But, if you could shut down Jokic, who is their main guy now with Jamal Murray out, is this pretty much a 4-1 series or possible sweep?
Yeah, I could see that happening, honestly. I think that the Nuggets are hurting, and I think that Dame has proven that he is the giant killer. That's his favorite thing to do, is to come in and the one thing that makes me sad, I don't know if they make it back to the Western Conference Finals, and a lot of people compare Dame to AI as like as a reincarnation of AI, where he'll handle all over you, he'll shoot all over you, but we may never see him get that chip, sadly. Because they haven't necessarily, like, obviously McCollum being there has always been great and whatnot, but you've never really given him someone that fully complements him and can take some of the burden off of him. Right. That's a little bit of the concern there. So I think that they've got this series probably, but I think that that's all they've got.
Okay. All right. Michael Porter Jr. for the Knicks had 25 points, but he was just 1 of 10 from 3-point range. Aaron Gordon only had 16. this alpha dog score. You got to get some more points against a team like this. Overall, they were down, or it was a close game here going into the third quarter, and then the Blazers went on a 32-13 run with Lillard getting 15 of those 32. That really turned everything around, and they outshot Denver from the foul line as well, 19-8, and hit 18 free throws to Denver's 4. So even in that arena, they were to beat these Nuggets. Anything to take away, JT, before we move on next game for these Blazers beating the Nuggets? Do you see the Blazers kind of being a team that could surprise some people in the West at all?
Listen, man, Lillard balled out this game, man. Like this dude, as long as who's got the best player on the floor between both teams?
Yeah,
Portland. Damian Lillard. That's who I'll take. Portland in this series. That's all I need to know.
All right. Let's see here. We got 2 more games to get to, but we got some Streamlabs that have come through. Pete Glanville says, and this is going to be a fun conversation. Y'all got any thoughts on the Kwame Brown rants? Well, I was counting down the time till we got a question for it. I sat down on Saturday. I watched about 30 to 40 minutes of that thing. Listen, I'm a Wizards fan, so I'm very intimately aware of Kwame Brown and what happened there with Jordan. And seeing these guys coming for Kwame and having him come back at them the way he did, he came after Jamel Hill.
What did he did?
Well, sorry, he's still going.
He continually does.
Yeah, but this is for those. If you guys don't know, Kwame Brown, you remember he was a first round bust in the NBA.
Rocha, what you not gonna I will walk away from the show. What you not gonna do is invoke the wrath of Kwame Brown on this show.
Hey, hold on. I was about to give him some love. I was going to say.
You already started you prefaced.
I put it in quotes.
People don't listen to the quotes; they just hear the words. Hi, the thoughts and opinions of the outlaw John Stephen Rocha are not those of the Blurs to the Hood fellas.
That's fine.
Winston A. Marshall and Jay Washington.
You didn't agree with me, so I'm clear. I'm sure.
Well, we want to make sure we are not invoking this rap like a Chucky doll.
How about this? Whether or not
I'd like to finish my sentence. Yeah, go ahead.
I was just gonna say whether or not he hit maximum potential. I'm not using the B word with Kwame Brown because I don't want none of those problems. I want 0 of those problems.
Whether or not he hit maximum potential.
I was just gonna say people considered him. I put in quotation marks. He lasted for 12 years in the NBA. He made $63. And from what I saw from that camera, he's living nice and high. He's got a beautiful house. He looks great. He looks fantastic. Looks in shape. Some of these, look at Charles. Charles is a planet. But you've got Kwame.
Charles does drugs and drinks every day.
All right, fine. Well, you can't comment if you're not going to come on screen. So, you got to keep it down if you're not going to come on screen. All right, there we go. Thank you, Jay. But I'm just saying, these Kwame Brown rants, you guys got to watch this shit. It is gorgeous. It is beautiful. This is how you go back at the haters. And he unleashed it in a brilliant way, a smart way, and a social media smart way, and just absolutely, him with the hookah was just genius. All of it around. Did you guys get a chance to watch this? What are your overall thoughts on it?
He calls Matt Barnes Becky with the good hair.
Yeah, it's true.
All I know is someone said it right that we treated Kwame like Omar on The Wire. The minute you said Kwame Brown is and you didn't quote said the B word, all true. I heard was and I was like, oh, Kwame coming, I gotta go, Kwame coming. Look, man. In some cases I thought he went too far. But the biggest thing that I will at least give him a baby bit of defense on is from the standpoint that people have had his name in their mouth for over a decade. And I promise you, there is a breaking point for all of us where if you keep invoking my name, eventually you gonna catch the smoke. And that's essentially what Kwame has been doing. He got tired of people putting his name in their mouth.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Bro, Kwame Brown now on his YouTube channel has 190,000 subscribers.
Yeah,
in like a week.
In a week.
Wow, that's insane.
Bro, we've all been working for years to build up a social media presence. In a week, he has 109, and it's all from this.
Yeah.
Every video is this. 190,000 1,000.
It was smart. It was smart for sure. JT, any thoughts on this? All right.
I missed this video. I heard about it. I've
Oh.
always seen experts on Twitter and like things here and there. So like, what are some of the? Give me some of the greatest hits. What did you say?
Good question. What are the greatest hits that Kwame dropped out? I mean, everybody's afraid. I mean, look in the chat. Everyone's like, Kwame's coming. Yeah. Let's see here.
I mean, here's some of the stuff. It started off with Gilbert Arenas, Steven Jackson, Matt Barnes, all kind of talking about him and how he's a bust and all that. And he started off by going at Barnes, other than calling him Becky with the good hair, but talking about how like Derek Fisher is effing your wife and like got the keys to your house and all this other stuff. And then talk about how Steven Jackson ain't never been shit, ain't never gonna be shit. Like when it all them, when it's going in at Stephen A. Smith and Skip Bayless and talking about like you never played ball, having asses and going off on them and all. Like literally, if anybody has invoked his name, like Candyman, bro, he comes up and he just murders you. Like that's just what he's been doing. I didn't know. I heard he had said something about Jamel, but I haven't seen it yet, so I'm trying to read about it real fast.
No, he actually pulled back on Jamel.
He did a little bit.
Jamel Hill is like the only person who has like Jamel Hill was like, bro, I'm sorry. He literally didn't say nothing to but he gave Chris Broussard the business.
Yeah, he did.
He been going. Like he gave Charlemagne, he gave the Breakfast Club, just all of it. Like
you come for Charlemagne the God, you got to have real stones, man. So respect.
Let's just roast him, man. Start a feud with him right now. We'll get get these numbers up.
Yeah, maybe.
Come on, boy. Let's do it.
He called Barnes Becky with the good hair. He called Steven Jackson a fake Black Lives Matter activist. And then he said Arenas. He said were insults and accusations that Arenas took millions from him when they played together. Brown said to Stephen A. Smith, Stephen A., you bald forehead, thinking you tough, talking about, they can come see me. Well, meet me in Seattle where you can have mutual combat. It'll look like you had a toupee on the front of your head. And then he went after Skip Bayless and Jamel Hill. This is what we were referencing. He said, and Skip Bayless, thanks for the pass, I guess, which he said in a separate Instagram live video. I ain't getting no pass from your co-host when you was letting this punk motherfucker talk about a teenager. I had to endure you talking about my mama's son like that, you bitch. Oh, my God.
Damn, Lord.
It was insane. And then, of course, Jackson responded was, everybody in the world has joked on your basketball skills, bro, so be mad at yourself. Don't make it personal. Don't make it personal. You talk about a man, you'll make it impersonal. I love how these guys talk shit. And then when something comes back, it's like, why are you getting all upset? So it's insane. But do yourself a favor.
Gaslighting 101, bro.
But you got to respect. Look, Matt Barnes a killer motherfucker, so you got to respect that.
Is he?
I feel like he would.
No, because when Matt everything Kwame has said about Matt Barnes, that we know about him and Derek Fisher is true. Like, you let this man in your house. He got your key. He said, bring some gas money so the kids get to school. Like Matt Barnes tried to play it cool, was like, hey, bro, I get you hurt. He's like, yo, come see us in Atlanta. He's like, we'll be in Atlanta. Come see us. He said, Matt Barnes crazy, but Matt Barnes was like, yo, we got to box first, come box, then be on the podcast. I said, what? Like
he has changed. He has changed his YouTube display name to Kwame Brown Bust Life. That's his. So yeah, there you go. And apparently, Charlemagne on the air said to leave Kwame Brown alone, and then he spoke to Kwame Brown's family in depth afterwards.
Wait! I just found the tweets from Jamel Hill that kind of set him off. The first one is Jamel going, Kwame Brown got me checking the tape to make sure I never said shit about him. If I did, I'm sorry. Please don't talk about my mama. And then she chose another one, Kwame Brown today and yesterday, and it's the picture that says violence, and it's just turned on.
Yo, wait, Sheo Hadari Coker, the showrunner for Luke Cage, said, hey, Kwame, I'm sorry for killing off Cottonmouth in season 1, bro. Don't come for me. Like everybody was like, yo, if you got any beef with me, nigga, I'm sorry. Everybody went on Twitter it was like, hey man, I'm sorry for cutting you off in traffic. Hey, like nobody wanted with Kwame, bro.
Which that's the other thing that Jamel had to explain the reference. So apparently this is where Kwame's anger sometimes is a little off base. I don't think he understands the turn of phrase so and so chose violence today.
Yeah.
Meaning that they're intentionally
intentionally.
It's so she calls it out. She goes, because he apparently went off on her and be like, "Ma'am, I got kids, and you lying about me talking about I chose to be violent." No, Jamel goes to Kwame Brown. I said you.
Share the screen.
No, go ahead. Yeah,
That's what it is.
yes,
I choose
it's
violence.
that. It's from that. So Jamel Hill said in a tweet in response after he went in her.
There we go. All right.
So after Kwame went at her. And he didn't go off, but he went at her. She was like, to Kwame Brown, I said, you chose violence. It's an expression from Game of Thrones.
Yes.
I didn't call you violent. Please and thank you.
That's amazing. He called Matt Barnes a high yellow glow stick. Pretty Ricky. Becky with the good hair and her finger wave having N-word. I don't know what that means. He called Stephen A.
You don't know what a finger wave having nigga means?
No, I don't.
You got this motherfucking hair like Red from the 5 Heartbeats. You got that knife like this. I wish that Red drops would fall. You got this. My office hours are from 9 to 5. Big red hairdo. You got a hair that look like people use 1 can of Morris pomade and it was a lifetime supply. Your hair looked like they put WD-40 in that bitch and a stocking on it.
Wow.
That's what the
He said Stephen A, quote, doesn't even wash his hands after using the bathroom. And he called Steven Jackson an effeminate bitch ass. Okay. All right. So that's just the highlights. I'm sure there's way more that he said, JT, that you can find out if you want to watch that thing.
Yeah.
It's an hour and a half, but it's well worth the watch. I was playing FIFA for listen to it, so it was pretty great. So shout out to Kwame Brown. He is fantastic.
Hey, Rocha, I understand you're Latino.
Please don't come after me, Kwame. Yeah, go ahead.
You're Latino, but that was the whitest thing you've ever said. I was playing FIFA and listening to Kwame Brown in the background.
First of all, that's not my voice. You just did Robert Parker, and that's not my voice. All right, let's move on to the next thing before we get too lost here. We talk about, okay, let's go to the 8th seeded Memphis Grizzlies, shocking the number 1 seeded Utah Jazz here, 112 to 109. Utah, they shot 12 of 47 from 3. That's gonna mess you up big time. Donovan Mitchell, as we mentioned, was a late scratch from the lineup, which probably affected things. So John Morant had 26 points. Jonas Valanciunas had chipped in 15 points and 12 rebounds. Kyle Anderson had 14 points. Bojan Bogdanovic scored 29 for the Jazz. Mike Conley had, remember him? He had 22 points, 11 assists. Rudy Gobert, only 15 rebounds and 11 points. No, I'm just saying he's old is all I'm saying.
Mike Conley, where we go?
So, JT, thoughts on this one, man? Any love for the Jazz here? Do you think Memphis might pull this Denver Nuggets upset and take them out in the first round?
We were talking about a little bit earlier. I think Mitchell coming back is going to be huge. I think it was a little bit of luck. They shot 43 threes. That's too many.
Yeah, it's too many, especially if you're not making them.
Yeah, especially if you're not making them. So I think they'll correct that. I think Mitchell will give him much more of a dangerous player inside and outside. Him driving to the hoop off the pick and roll with Joker is going to just be hard to guard, period.
Yeah.
So to me, I think this was just playoffs just started. Utah maybe just, wasn't 100% in. They didn't have Mitchell. They thought they were going to have Mitchell, and then they find out they don't have him right beforehand. Who knows? Maybe the game plan was for him to be part of it the whole time. I think they're going to course correct here and take the guys out pretty quickly.
Winston A, this is a great comment from Jordan Freeman. If Conley loses this series to the Grizzlies after years of being with that team, that would be the ultimate ha-ha. Yeah, totally forgot Conley and the Grizzlies.
Yeah, that's right.
Do you think Donovan Mitchell rights the ship here, or do you think the Grizzlies have figured this team out?
I mean, I gotta say, the Grizzlies did what the Lakers should have been doing and shut the Warriors up, bro. Yeah. Like, you know what I'm saying? I know that has nothing to do with this particular series, but the Grizzlies look like a solid team. That's the big thing here. So I think anything could ultimately happen as far as like this progression. Yeah. I think it depends. It depends on if Donovan is more about his business than he is about being pissed off. Like I said, I genuinely believe that he's going to play the game, but then one out. Right. I think that's probably what's going to happen here. You don't end up with the number 1 seed for nothing. So I think that they're going to handle their business and come back and deal with the Grizzlies. So
okay, all right. Do you see these Grizzlies being frisky here and kind of upsetting these Jazz? I mean, you've been questioning the Jazz all season. Can they do in the playoffs? Can they show up? Can they do their thing? Grizzlies now just took one from them on their own home court in Utah. So do you think this is just fool's gold a little bit with Donovan Mitchell on the lineup, or is Ja Morant maybe being the Western Conference Trae Young and doing his thing here against these Jazz?
He is, but again, there's no doubt. We can't say that until a game happens with Donovan Mitchell on the court.
Mm-hmm.
You got to have a game with Donovan Mitchell on the court, and if Ja Morant does what he does again, then we can start having that discussion. But as of right now, we can all. I mean, I don't want to say fluke, but everybody's like, "Yo, the best player on the Jazz wasn't on the court."
Yeah.
So he was pulled last minute. So we're like, "Yeah, that's what should happen." The Grizzlies should win this game. Granted, they barely won by 3, but you should still win this game. Now, if this second game, Donovan Mitchell is on the court and the Grizzlies win, but it has to be decisive. It can't be one of those like this. But then also, even still like this is scary because those are the moments that's between a championship and not.
Fair point. All right, we shall see for sure. And Donovan Mitchell comes back in game 2. He has promised he will be back in game 2, so might turn some things around. All right, the last game here of the NBA playoffs is my Wizards going down to these Sixers, and not to the team, not to the player that you think they'd go down to, Joel Embiid. It was actually Tobias Harris who led these Sixers, 37 points. Embiid did have 30 as well, but they won it by 7. Harris scored 28 of his points in the first half. And remember, Harris signed that $180 million contract for these Sixers, and he kind of gets that when people talk about Joel Embiid and Ben Simmons, but it's also Tobias Harris who felt that he was overlooked for a possible all-star selection this year, and this was still close. I mean, the Wizards had it within 5 points with 45 seconds left, so as for all the great stuff they did, the Wizards still had a shot at these Sixers as an 8 seed if they were able to get some points here at the end. Russell Westbrook only had 16 points in the game. Beal had 33, but then he stepped out of bounds, Westbrook did, with 37 seconds left, which could have been a difference maker to get a basket, maybe get the Sixers thinking about things. Jay, what do you got here on this one, man? Do you think this is just a little bit of a bump for the Sixers, and then they put it back together and they're going to stomp all over these Wizards? Or did the Wizards show that they could go with these guys toe-to-toe, had no fear, and if a couple of things bounce their way, they could get themselves in a position to win some games here?
Hey, man, people been sleeping on the Sixers. People been for lack of a better word, sleeping on them. Like, they've been out here killing quietly.
Yeah.
Philly been killing quietly all season. Like, Philly just been doing what Philly doing. Everybody keep being like, oh yeah. Wait, you mean tell me that Joel Embiid? You're like, wait, Joel Embiid and what's his name?
Ben Simmons.
And Ben Simmons, they both up for these awards? And they're like, yeah. And people, again, because these are people that thought they fell off, but yet they still playing. Again, this will be a good series.
Right.
Russell has to be the dude he says he is.
Yep. All right.
Russell Bradley Beal is there, but Russell got to be. Yeah. Russell is all mentality of, I'm the guy. I can do all this. Okay, you better.
Yeah, he's starting to become inconsistent at the tail end of the year here, Winston. I mean, like he didn't show up in the game against Indiana. Against the Celtics, but did show up against Indiana, but he didn't show up in the first game of this game against Sixers. If they're going to have any shot, Russell's got to show up every game to give them an opportunity to think. Don't you think?
I think that I'm still pissed off that teams with losing records get to go to the playoffs. How about that? I think that
I'm gonna pull out my hookah in a minute. We'll see what's up.
You know who chose violence is this gentleman right here. I'm gonna tell you something right now. I think that obviously the Wizards are a threat. They deserve to be in the playoffs as far as like their play, but at the same time, you were 34 and 38. There is something to be said about there were teams with winning records that would probably do a little bit better. There were 38 games where y'all were asleep at the fucking wheel. And it just got tilted in the fact that Russell Westbrook is still Russell Westbrook. Because if I remember correctly, I believe the year that Russell Westbrook won MVP and had them shattered the triple-double record and did it with like the highest triple-double average you've ever seen.
Yeah.
They also, I believe, were a losing team at that particular juncture. If I remember correct, I could be wrong about this.
Possibly. But
there's something to be said about that, man. And there's a reason why I don't ever want Russell to not be Russell, but I need him to function more as like a unit with the people around him type situation.
Yeah.
And obviously him and Bradley have been something special. But there's a reason why Philly is Philly. There's a reason why they've been the favorite outside of the Nets coming out of the East. You know what I'm saying? So
I agree, but I mean, these Wizards were still hanging in there, even with Russell's not great game, JT. So, and I hear Winston's point. Although, if you look at the Wizards' record over the last 3 months, so much better than the record before. They had to deal with COVID issues. They had to deal with the injuries on Westbrook coming back, and the rest with him, Beal getting injured as well. We lost 2 of our players to season-ending injuries, so that kind of affected how the team was going forward. Thomas Bryant being one of them. Like, what do you think? When you look at this Wizards team, are they just going to be that plucky guy? Maybe they get one game, kind of like the Sixers did against the Lakers in the finals, or do you think this is just pretty much a sweep now?
I mean, you got the most consistent team next to the Utah Jazz with Philadelphia this season against one of the most inconsistent teams. Like you said, not all their fault due to injuries, COVID. And honestly, Westbrook is an up and down player. Like you said, he didn't show up to that Celtics game, but then he balled out the next one, You can't pick and choose when you're gonna be a great player. You should just be a great player all the time. So yeah, for me, I think it'll be close. I don't think they're gonna just straight up dog them out here on out. I think some of these games will be close, but I don't think because of the consistency that Philly has showed all year. I think they'll win the series, and they might even win. They might even sweep, but that doesn't mean the games won't be competitive.
Yeah. That's all I need to be competitive. Give us a shot. But this is what you're right. This is what Russell does in the playoffs. This is why there's always been kind of a ding, not as bad as PG, but there's always been a ding on Russell in that he's inconsistent when he shows up in the playoffs. And people plan for him to make stupid shots. People plan for him to dribble into 3 opposing defenders and throw up a 2-pointer instead of finding the better shot like he did in that game against Atlanta a few weeks ago. He had 4 seconds left. Why are you taking a 3 with 4 seconds left instead of driving into the lane when you're down by 2 and drawing contact? It just doesn't make any sense at all. So, all right. And some people agree with you, Winston, that losing records shouldn't be allowed in the playoffs.
Well, that was me. That's literally me.
Oh, that is you. Oh, okay.
I'm saying because people are coming out and be like, you wouldn't have said this in the Cowboys to be the playoffs.
Not doing this no more. No.
Well, you see Corey. You see Corey Scott Johnson saying, Winston, you wouldn't be saying that if the Cowboys had made it to the playoffs with a losing record. That's bullshit. Go watch the tape. I said we do not deserve to be in the playoffs. We shouldn't for a couple reasons. First of all, the rest of these good-ass teams were going to wash us in the first game. And second of all, you are teeing yourself up for a shitty draft pick off of a shitty year. If you're going to have a shitty year, I'm not saying you tank, but fuck, man. Like, don't do this. If you're going to do it, you better fucking win it all. That's all I'm saying. You better play with some sort of extra level shit that we didn't know about, but otherwise you are setting yourself up for future failure.
I hear you.
Sorry, I had to just turn my damn air conditioner on in my apartment. It's hot as hell in there.
Is it? Okay.
Man, okay, I get what you said there, Winston, when you was like, you're going to have to turn it on. Yeah, damn.
All right, let's get to the. All right, that's all for the NBA playoffs. We'll have more, of course, next week when we cover it again. But let's get on to the rest of these Streamlabs super chats. Eric Kirby says, if you guys had the opportunity this upcoming NFL season to see a game in person for your team, would you do it or would you wait until 2022?
Man, look, I need to live. Look, I'm vaccinated. I'm doing what I can. At this rate, we gotta start living life. People can't just put shit off anymore because if you start. Go ahead.
The simple fact that the vaccination exists at this point and that it is being distributed out there and whatnot. Yeah, I've already been out to bars and stuff. Like once I was vaccinated, my mentality changed about how I was dealing with this. I'm still safe about wearing a mask and whatnot out in public because it's not just about me. It's about trying to help other people and to protect other people that don't have that shit going on. Right. But like I'm already making plans to have a Vegas trip, going with another homie for a bachelorette party. Like the point of the vaccination is that you are safe and now you can do things. So yes, I would 1,000%. If someone was like, there is a Cowboys Saints game, because me and my boys used to do that all the time, I'd be like, fuck it, let's go.
Also, there has been talk of a lot of Blurs in the Hood coming. And so now that we vaccinated, I finally can make that shit happen because he was like, nigga, I'm not doing this till we vaccinated. So now I'm not going to push that till 2022 when I know we can make this happen now. And especially with everything that's going on. Are you really doing your hair and your reflection? Especially.
Yeah. JT, what are your thoughts on this? Would you go to see a Patriots game this year?
Yeah. Oh my God. If somebody said, "Hey man, October 4th, Brady going back to Gillette Stadium," I would start driving today. I would totally do that. I would be there in a heartbeat. I'm fully vaccinated.
Yeah,
I'm just like you. I wear a mask when I go out.
Hold on. Do you see what he said, though? He said Brady going back to Gillette. He didn't say Brady going down to Tampa, playing the Patriots in Tampa. He said, I ain't going to no motherfucking Florida.
No, I ain't going to Tampa. But to see him back in the Patriots, I can't wait for that game. Oh, honestly.
Yeah.
He's going to be cheered. He's a hero. But at the end of the day, the fans will be rooting for the Patriots.
Yep, I would go.
Immunos, there's not a cure. You don't have a cure to it. That's what a vaccine.
Yeah.
Let me say this.
Yes. Go ahead.
Imagine Cam Newton struggling hard out of the gate. Week 3, it's a blowout. Mac Jones comes in. Game 4 against Brady. Ooh. It's sweet.
Against that Tampa Bay defense.
I mean, listen,
they're gonna rip him apart, man.
Baptism through fire. Do what you gotta do.
It's gonna be like Megatron ripping up an auto.
Or like maybe Cam's doing good. He just gets hurt mid-game, and Mac Jones comes in mid-game. Oh man, the stories, the drama. I can't wait.
I would totally go because I wear my mask as well, and I'd totally go. We're playing the Chiefs on October 17th in Washington, D.C., so I would absolutely go see Patrick Mahomes do his thing, even if we don't win the game, just to see one of the great talents in the NFL would be great.
I am thinking about going to Vegas with some Chicago people for the Bears-Raiders game. If I can get some money together to make sure I can pay my bills and still live and do what I got to do, and the tickets ain't $1,000 to take a seat, you know what I'm saying?
Well, that's
some of the ticket prices have been ridiculous.
They're insane. Well, because the NFL is trying to recoup a lot of lost money. So, like for example, the Cowboys Saints game, the nosebleed tickets are over $250.
Wow!
It used to be that you could get some lower level shit from people for like $250. The fact that it's for nosebleeds, it's $250. Oh Lord, it's gonna be bad for at least a year or two on trying to get tickets to games. I'll be honest with you.
Man, I'm about to find a hookup. I'm finna start doing OnlyFans. I'll be shaking ass to cash. Like, hey, Miss Lady, look, let me find some old lady that works in accounting that just want to see a black dude with nothing but shoulders. Hey, Miss Esther.
Jay, you're not wrong. I'm looking at the Las Vegas Raiders game right now against the Bears. All the way at the top of the stadium, $730 a ticket.
Dude, check out the tickets for Brady coming back to New England. They're going for thousands.
Really?
You see what I'm saying? That's ridiculous.
October 4th, you can't get a ticket unless you're rich. Brady is coming back. Everyone wants a ticket.
It's the Buccaneers? All right, let me see here.
October 4th.
Insane.
Tampa goes to New England.
All right, Gillette, I'd never be caught dead in that state. $1,800 in the upper row.
Yep, I told you.
Wow.
Everybody wants that ticket.
Okay. Ram. Just to y'all tell me which one you think I should click on, just so we can get an inkling of
for Rams.
So looking at Rams. There's Bears, Buccaneers, Cardinals, Lions, Titans, Jaguars, Seahawks, and Niners.
Tom Brady going to LA.
Any team would ever have a high profile QB. So which would be the Bucks, the Bears, other teams like that, high profile quarterbacks.
So then we're looking at it's week 18 out of San Francisco, so probably not. So I guess maybe Jacksonville, but you have the number 1 draft pick there.
Last time Brady played the Rams, he beat him in the Super Bowl. So
no. I understand that. I know that the Buccaneers are going to be expensive. Yeah. The Lions will be expensive because it's golf coming
Jacksonville won't be expensive.
But I think maybe because the number 1 draft pick, let me click on it just to see. So I just hit buy tickets. I'm on Ticketmaster. It's going to be bad. Okay, so here you go. Super nosebleeds, $79. So we could do that if you want. But
everybody with binoculars. Hey, so who is that?
But the
Bears. The Bears. There's one ticket available into the VIP section for $1,200.
Oh my God, that would be fun. The game time crew sports game. That would be hilarious. Yes.
Let me ask you a question. Has anybody? Yep. I mean, the LA stadium will be the first year it's actually open to the public, correct?
Yeah. Yeah.
It's
SoFi.
It's open. So, do they have those huge screens just like in Dallas?
Oh yeah. They have
because that thing's like $2 billion stadium or something like that. It's ridiculous.
Apparently, I went when they were constructing it, and apparently they even have a VR setup. So if you were to bring your Oculus, you could watch the game VR wise in the stadium, which is insane.
Rocha, accept my share real quick, just so y'all can see. So this is the Brady game in SoFi, 240, and that's for nosebleed shit.
Yeah.
Oh, that's not bad.
It's not bad. That's because it's
not
LA,
great.
Man.
But that's not great. Any of these mega stadiums, regardless of what city you're talking about, those tickets don't go for any more than like $80 to $100. The fact that those are $240 each just goes to show that we're going to have this issue until the NFL recoups some of their losses.
Yeah. True, very true. All right, let's hit some of these. A couple of these super chats. Xavier Black Wiley was back. He said, "How about this Giannis and Dame to Chicago in a 5-team mega trade with Dallas and Oklahoma City getting picks? Get their own super team together. They need to do something, but I think he is way too content for a trade request." Ooh.
Look, I'll tell you this.
Where Dreamland is he coming? Him like,
I don't see Giannis going to Chicago.
No,
this is great.
Why not? Why not? It's down the street.
Shut up. I wish.
Milwaukee's not giving up Giannis over anything.
Yeah.
I wish that Cuban wasn't putting together the all-white all-stars down in Dallas, because if we could somehow get Giannis to come in and replace Porzingis, Luka and Giannis, holy fuck.
Good night.
Good night, sir.
I agree with you on that. And no way that's happening, Xavier. No way. I think Giannis will go for a big market. He won't go for Chicago.
Chicago is a big market. What are you talking about?
Sorry, man. Elijah York.
What are you talking about? The top tier markets are New York, LA, Chicago. What are you talking about? A big market? Those are the 3 major markets in the country. What are you even talking about right now? Records aside, the 3 big markets in the country are New York, LA, Chicago. Let's just be honest. So you can sit there and say all that, he's going to go to a bigger market. Okay, then New York or Los Angeles. And then you got to pick which LA team. Because do you want him on the Clippers and have Tyronn Lue ruin them? Or do you want to have him play second fiddle to Anthony Davis? Then do you want to go to the Knicks and have Tom Thibodeau run his crybaby ass potentially? Because we might see how much he cries if Tom Thibodeau runs. Miss me with that shit.
Clearly.
It's not a big market team. Come on, man.
Y'all want to go to this Cardinals game? It's like 88 ahead.
Shut the fuck up.
Why do you think Elijah York says, why do you think Kwame gets picked on compared to other draft quote unquote busts? There was Darko, who drafted by Detroit ahead of Wade and Melo.
Did Kwame go to LA?
No, he went eventually.
Yeah,
eventually.
Who do you start with?
Jordan, but the Wizards. Jordan's drafted.
That's
right,
why,
okay.
and that's why.
Yeah.
Because it was one of Jordan's first picks as an owner. Yeah. Remember?
People
so that's why it's such a big deal.
Why
Kwame being a bust as opposed to other draft picks? Why people talk
people
about
hate
Kwame
Jordan?
Bost.
So by indirect results, he's connected to that, and all those stories that came out with Jordan complained about his small hands. Jordan complained. There was rumors that Jordan made Kwame cry in a practice. So it was all that shit that came out that really ruined Kwame's reputation.
Well, according to Kwame.
Don't give the report
I'm
here.
telling you what happened. I'm not saying he was right or wrong.
According to Kwame Brown, Jordan didn't even want him. He only wanted him as trade bait for Elton Brand.
That's fair. All right, go ahead.
I'm just so scared.
I don't know. He's going after higher meats.
I wish that door behind Swaggy would close or open just a tiny bit, and then you see Kwame like. Run! Run!
Just the hand out.
There's a part of me that wishes I had the force right now, or I was a telekinetic, so I could just make it open.
No! And it just fades to black.
That's the new Paranormal Activity. Is Kwame Brown just standing over the bed for hours? Shit.
God.
King AJ, they said Kwame 3 times. Run.
Look, man, all I'm saying is it genuinely reminds me of fucking like Beetlejuice, Candyman, any of that shit. You just say it too many times.
We'll show it.
Ooh, and like instead of the Omar whistle, it's that notification that Instagram Live has started like, oh shit. Like,
that's a good point, David. Kwame's draft was dreadful. The best players from that draft are Mike Miller, Jamal Crawford, and Michael Redd. That's a great point, David.
Good point.
Fantastic point.
Good point.
Also, who was it? Where did he go? Oh, yeah, here he goes. David also said, why go to one Midwest dead zone to another? Oh, ouch. All right, there we go. All right, I don't want to set you off again. Let's move on. All right, Alex Tornai says, do you guys think that the Packers will swoop in for Julio Jones? Yeah, we're running out of time. Let's talk about this. Also, Phil Mickelson won a PGA Championship at 50 years old.
Yeah.
Big deal. All right, do you guys think that the Packers will swoop in for Julio Jones to keep Rodgers?
Aaron Rodgers want to go. Aaron Rodgers don't give a fuck no more.
Julio Jones ain't going there unless he knows Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah, just coming back. Yeah, let me finish this. Definitely not a realistic scenario, but what's your ideal landing spot for Julio? I see him going to the Titans or the Ravens being a good possibility. Thoughts? What do you guys think?
Living with the Patriots have also been in the running here. Let's not kid ourselves. I've seen several reports online that the Patriots and Julio Jones, you know, they could be talking. Cam Newton and him, I think, would have good chemistry. I mean, he wants to go somewhere. He said that on Undisputed. He called in sharing something. He wants to win right now. And unfortunately, somebody said Dallas, and he said, I ain't going to Dallas.
He said, I ain't going to Dallas.
Shout out to my homie Josiah Johnson. He said,
don't go to Dallas. He's like, you already know I know.
He said, Julio Jones, I'm not going to Dallas. He's like, no, I want to win. It's a picture. He said, Jerry Jones. And it's the picture of Hulk Hogan spray painted in.
So look, all I know is that the funny thing is if Julio did come to Dallas in that regard, I think what he's actually looking for is a competent offense with a legitimate defense. Because the problem is he was out here putting up 300-yard games with 2 touchdowns, but the Falcons just let people run all over them.
Huge leads and blow. Yeah.
So he's looking for a competent offense with a stellar defense so he can actually try and win. Because he can still put a team on his back, but he's not trying to do that. But now,
can you imagine he go down to Tampa Bay? Can you imagine they make room for him down at Tampa Bay?
Utah says, dude is going to find a way to end up in Tampa Bay.
But that's the thing. There's no way in hell that Atlanta would allow that. They're not letting someone go interdivisional. They barely want to let him go conference because it's the same issue with Aaron Rodgers. He ain't going to no goddamn Bears. And he ain't even going to fucking San Francisco. If he going anywhere, his ass going to the other conference. So we only have to see him maybe twice a year at most. We're not doing this. And so I think it's the same. Now, mind you, if he did come to Dallas, Julio Jones,
it was very clear.
Gallup and CeeDee Lamb. That would be the greatest wide receiver core you have ever seen in your life. And it would be 50-point games all the time. But I understand that you don't want none of those problems because Dallas has been a dump. As a Dallas fan, even in our good years, we've been a dumpster fire since I can remember. So I do not blame him for being like, no, thank you. Now, mind you, we'll never go interdivision. If he went to the Saints, though, and I know you're still figuring out what's going to happen with your quarterback.
Yeah, he ain't going there.
Him and Michael Thomas opposed with each other with Kamara coming out of the backfield.
Yeah, but he was throwing though. Jason Hill.
You just said this though. If Tampa Bay won't let him go, why you?
I know that. I'm very aware of that. But
good. Nice.
Then it's over. Tyreek Hill and Julio Jones.
It's about over. I think if you hear an announcement that breaks from Ian Rappaport or from Adrian Wojciechowski that says the Kansas City Chiefs have acquired Julio Jones and all they had to give up was draft picks, you're going to be like,
That's Julio was out a lot last year with injuries.
Yeah, it was
like one of his least productive years.
It don't matter. It's Julio Jones.
He played 9 games, They're
asking for a first-round draft pick. They are asking for a
They're not going to get it. Randy Moss was for a 4th round. And he wasn't injured. So there's no way it happens. But I'll tell you this, and again, won't go interconference, but if he ended up in Arizona and it was fucking Hopkins and him on the opposite side of it, holy fuck.
It's not a bad place for him, too, as well. Just because Larry Fitzgerald has been there for a long time, too. Sorry, Jay, go ahead. What?
I said, with Lil Murray around there sitting there like, I can see y'all.
So right now, the Falcons might be induced into doing this as well because they have only $500. They have less than $500,000 available with the cap space, and they still need to sign their rookie class. If they trade Jones after June 1st, it would clear about $15.3 million in salary for 2021, although they take a dead cap hit of $7.75 in 2021 and $15.5 million in 2022. And apparently, according to NFL Network's Ian Rappaport, Jones is talking about it now, but he had requested the trade months ago. So this has been going on for quite some time, and who knows if he'll make it happen. But yeah, I mean, fuck, man, you just made me lose my mind thinking of him going to the Chiefs. Holy shit. I think Andy Reid just came in his visor. That's just insane to even think about that shit. So,
wow. No.
In his plastic one.
No.
Plastic
It has to shoot up past his belly. You are disgusting.
He'll make it.
Jay, why did you take something that was bad and make it worse? I just assumed he took it off because he didn't have a sock around and it fucking landed in the visor. Why did you do? Oh God, I hate you.
There it is. Adit Mahmoud said Ravens would legitimately challenge Casey's office with Julio, Lamar, Hollywood, Mark Andrews, Sammy Watkins, and Rashad Bateman. That is for damn sure.
I mean, offense, yeah, but we're looking at again, defense-wise, Baltimore is trying to get back to that glory. They have some moments where you're like, this is that Ravens defense, but again, Julio out here wanting that defense to be solid as a rock. Like he needs to be like, I'm good. We're good.
Yeah, absolutely. We'll see. We'll see what happens for sure. All right, so there we go. Let me see if I've gotten any more Streamlabs super chats coming through here before we wrap up. Eric Kirby says, here you go. Oh, no, I'm sorry. Elijah York. Why do you think we asked that? Eric Kirby. Hey, guys, name your top 3 sports stars who have turned into great sportscasters in the top 3 sports, NFL, baseball, and basketball. For example, Tony Romo. Chris Webber is not good because he keeps calling timeouts. Just joking, Mr. Oak. Oh, fuck you, Eric. God damn. You motherfucker. Walked me right into that one, didn't you son of a bitch? I'm like Ron Burgundy. I have to read what's on the prompter. What do you guys would you say top 3 sportscasters or sportscasters that come from the leagues?
Athletes.
Yeah, athletes who, I mean, and this is one for Winston right there. Just coming in that visor.
Romo is the only one that comes to mind, to be honest with you, because there's plenty of good ones. Because I don't consider Shaq and Charles casters.
Oh my god, hell no.
No, but they're also like on the analyst desk. They're not casters. The only one that sticks out is Romo. Aikman has been doing it for a minute, but he's not. You know what I'm saying? He's okay.
Yeah. He's Reggie Miller.
Yeah, Reggie Miller is good.
Reggie Miller is good. And Cheryl Miller. Cheryl Miller.
Yeah, I was going to say, Reggie and his sister are good. Active players, because he's not a player. Because the 1-2 combination that I think is one of the top tier is Mark Jackson and Jeff Van Gundy. The two of them together are
they were coaches. Yeah,
they were coaches.
No, I know. Do you guys like Chris Collinsworth? He's an ex-player.
Yeah, he gets gold. It's sometimes when you get Chris Collinsworth, you be like,
that right there is a play. Wow.
Yeah, right. I know. But at this point, like, he's just. I like hearing him, man. It's like
Chris Collinsworth is like, you wish you had hands like that. Wow.
Al, those are hands, Al. I've seen hands.
Al, look at this again.
I always think of the Seahawks Patriots game where he goes, I'm sorry, I just can't believe the call after they decide to throw. Like, I hear that in my head every time I hear that. I think of that game.
I'm going to throw out Doris Burke. I mean, she qualifies. She's a former player, she's been fantastic. I love when she calls games. She's incredible.
Doris is what they say should take what's the face's spot?
Marv Albert's spot.
Marv Albert's spot.
Fuck
yeah.
Guys, that's a good point. Mark Jackson didn't get famous off of being a player, but he did play. I know his career was
a warrior.
And the Knicks.
Yeah. So Mark Jackson does count.
Yeah, he counts.
He counts.
Jackson Miller Romo.
Oh, Romo.
Top. Jackson Miller, Romo. I mean, Romo's not in that order. Just naming 3. Romo, in my opinion, is the best we've ever seen. That went from player to commentator. It's like, motherfucker, are you like listening into their broadcast of what they're doing for their plays? How are you? What the fuck?
But that lets you know that's somebody who, when he plays the game, his mentality is still, I'm watching the field as if I'm playing the game.
Yeah.
I think what it did is it made people appreciate Romo as a player more, because I think what it ultimately did was show Jesus. He had the sauce. This dude was just injured so damn much. Lord knows you can play through a broken rib, but eventually one broken rib throw, it was just too much, and now your throw's a little rogue, and you've thrown your second interception that ends the game.
Yeah.
Wait, was he hurt when he mishandled that field goal?
That I'm not sure of, but also remember that was the beginning of the end of backup quarterbacks holding snaps, because they were like, oh, you might be a little tired and might fuck up. Let's make the punter do it, because why wouldn't we? So
also,
look, revolutionize the game. Tony Romo did. All right, so fuck you.
I wouldn't blame Romo for that. Goes squarely on the redheaded idiot who was their coach for all those years. I don't blame Romo at all. Romo clearly, Romo's like fucking Christopher Walken in the danger zone. He grabs the football and he knows exactly what you're going to do with it. He's predicting the future. He's crazy like that. But yeah, I would say I love Chris Webber. I'm mad that he's not calling the playoffs this year for TNT. That pissed me off. They couldn't come to a resolution. I like how Chris calls the games. He's very smart about it. But I begrudgingly say this. Some people pointed out in the chat, A-Rod has been fantastic on the desk talking baseball.
Nomar used to be the best. Nomar used to be Nomar used to be dope when he was calling.
Yeah, but let me ask though, because that was the same question. Is he an analyst like Charles and Shaq, or is he actually calling games?
He's actually calling the game.
He's called games.
Not
Weber. I mean A-Rod. I'm asking.
Yeah, he's been in the studio and he's been on calls in the games as well. He's done both.
Let's not forget Celtics. Bill Walton. That guy, I think he's entertaining. He had a crazy.
Right.
I'm surprised you didn't bring up Heinsohn.
All right, time to get him off this.
All right, we gotta go. Yeah, we're 4 minutes past. Thank you all so much for the incredible chat and for the fun conversations we had on the show. Thanks for the Streamlabs Super Test. Thanks for joining us. Please remember to hit that like button for sure. Let's go around the horn here. Tell everyone where they can find you. Jay Washington, we'll start with you, brother.
Twitter, Instagram at Mr. J Washington as always. YouTube.com/JAY Washington 80. I just dropped a reaction for the Eternals. I'm excited for it. I don't give a fuck about none of y'all. I didn't read this whole 400-page book and then another one. So I'm excited for what this is. I've been rereading the Eternals.
Okay.
Blurs in the Hood tomorrow and Thursday, 2 p.m. Pacific, 5 p.m. on the East Coast. Here's the biggest thing, though. Go to the YouTube channel for Blurs in the Hood right now. YouTube.com/BLERDS, the letter NTHEHOOD. My co-host, my brother, my friend, Winston A. Marshall, and myself, we just got a chance to sit down on the heels of the finale of Black Lightning. We sat down with Black Lightning himself, Cress Williams, for over 30 minutes and just talked, and the conversation was so great. I was mad we had to end it, but it was a good conversation. Go check that out, and Mad Titan drops this week. Yeah.
There we go. All right. Winston A., what do you got?
Blurs in the Hood. So that interview that he just said, go watch that. You will not regret it. Blurs in the Hood, regular Tuesday and Thursday, 2 p.m. Pacific. This Wednesday, I am talking about MODOK, the show that dropped on Hulu. Trying to figure out if a guest situation. So we're going to figure that out. But we're going to be talking about MODOK. And then obviously in, a week's time? Is it a week, or are we still 2 weeks out from Loki?
2 weeks.
June 9th.
Oh my Lord, I gotta find another show to review between then. Jesus Christ. But Inner Geekdom show Wednesdays, 9 a.m. Pacific. And that's pretty much it that's going on right now.
All right.
One more thing I forgot to add real quick.
My God. Yep.
This Sunday, Blurs After Dark, only on our Twitch channel.
Nice.
Blurs After Dark, twitch.tv/Blurs in the Hood. We have the ladies of Talk Blurty to Me, TK Trinidad and Drew Jones will be with us on that. So this Sunday, 9 p.m. Pacific.
Nice. Maybe Andy Reid will show up. What do you got? JT? What do you got to plug?
Just hit me up on Twitter, JT Movie Thing. That's about all I got.
There you go. All right. You can follow me at The Rocha Says on Twitter and Instagram. Please remember to subscribe to the channel down below. We're marching towards that 17,000 subscriber mark. Could really use your help in making that happen. If you haven't subscribed yet, and hit that bell so you know when all the new content drops on the Outlaw Nation for sure. So thanks, everybody. And we'll talk to you next time, next Monday for another brand new live episode. Peace.
Woo.